Yes, we have music. I've been playing with GarageBand. I freaking love it. It's like so much fun. I can write like bad Depeche Mode ripoffs and stuff. How's my sound? Where is my sound? What am I doing? Am I screaming in your ears? I apologize if I am. Hope the mic is loud today, says Alicia. Yes. Is it loud enough for you, Alicia? If it's too loud, you're too old. Or I'm too old. One of the two. Okay, enough of my silly music. Though it is very catching, I've got to say. I got to figure out how to get that onto this computer so that we can actually... I'll use that as my theme song. I'll have like a theme song. Do. I do not know why I'm so chipper because I've got a splitting freaking headache. I had another vaccination shot yesterday, day before yesterday, and I've just had this like feels like someone is slowly jamming a wedge between the left and right side of my brains. Royalty-free Muzak, exactly. I am the royalty-free Muzak guy. My wife was laughing at me because I put my Hacksmith lab coat on. She's like, "Are you going to be doing some work down there?" I was like, "Well, yes, I'm going to be streaming. I want to wear my comfy jacket." I also got given, as my nieces would say, "Where's it gone? Did I lose it?" Oh, I've also got my nerdy pen. So my nieces were very kind. They gave me a nerdy pen that has a little the equivalent of a tape measure on it. It has screwdrivers at the end. I don't know how to get to them. They're in here somewhere. I'm gonna break it. There's a little screwdriver somewhere in there. And it has a level, but for some reason there's no fluid in the level, so it's not a very good level. But and you could also, it's got like you could touch the pad with it. Anyways, I love it because it just seems to go so perfectly well with my wonderful Hacksmith lab coat, which is really cool. I should do Techbandits. I should ask Hacksmith. There's an income for Hacksmith. Hacksmith could do all of the Techbandits merchandise and just take whatever he needs off the top. There you go. That'd be freaking brilliant because he's got it all shipping and all sorts of stuff done. He says the only way to do it is to actually do it out of the house himself. Snazzy lab coat, isn't it? Like, check it out. Look at that. How neat is that? I had to plug my headphones in because I forgot to charge them. Yeah, I think I'm a little manic today, I think. Lots of coffee to keep me going, and as I say, the jackhammer in my head. Lots of stuff to discuss today. Is there anything I want to talk about before I go into chat mode? Before I start opening things up to other people's opinions? Is there some pontificating that I should be doing before I do that? Probably not, but I'm going to anyways. So a few things. I sent out a little thing on Patreon the other day to my wonderful Patreon folks. And I know it's not just the Patreon folks. I know that's also everyone who subscribes and donates and all of you basically. But I wanted to just sort of reach out to the Patreons in particular because I got this freaking thank you card for the Techbandits. I should grab it. Yeah, hang on. I'll be back in a second. Here, listen to some music. I'll be back in 1 second. Here you go. Here you go. Listen to some music. I'll be back in 1 second. You're never going to get bored of that. Trust me. I feel like I should be singing like this. God, I wish I was a kid now. I mean, not that I'm not, but just the idea that you can do that kind of it. The fact you can sit down at a laptop and write a song if you want to, no matter how crappy it might be. The idea that you can do something like that is just, it's kind of fun. All right, check this out. Look at this. Just to get a sense of scale. Look at that. Thank you, Techbandits. It's even got a little heart on the back. Look at that. Techbandits. And then they all... I don't think there's anything on here that you can't see. I don't think so. But look at this. Look at this. It's like, look, everyone signed it and things and said things. What did they say? We appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thank you so much. That sounds like a formal marketing thing. I love you. Thank you. Greater than 3. What does greater than 3 do? Oh, it's a heart sideways. I see. Yes, very good. No, I'm not old at all. Thanks a lot, Jeff Bezos. I don't know what that means. Thank you. I hate Enzo, but I like teeth. Oh, tech. Yeah, there you go. So there's little. I like the fact that they're having little arguments back and forth on the card. I just, I don't know. I don't know. I was really touched by the fact that they did that. Hello, focus. I just absolutely sort of gobsmacked, should we say, that the kids took the time to do that. I just thought that was great. Greater than 3. Could he be more of a boomer? Shut the front door, Cal. God, she's so. You know what? When I'm chatting with her on Discord, she's like, oh my God, like the nicest person on the planet. Then all of a sudden she gets in here and it's all hammer all the time. Hello, Cal. Everybody say hi to Cal. Cal, the wonderful Cal, who's always here, always watching, always making sure I don't do something. I was going to say don't do something stupid, but I do stupid things all the time. Making sure that I don't get in trouble for doing stupid things. How's that? Alicia Lauren was the first person in today. Super duper. Heather on the Hill. Hello. Who else have we got in here? We've got Libu. Hello, Libu. Nixie Geek. A friend of mine went to uni to study archaeology. Lasted 4 months before they realized their knees were way too crap for that gig. Oh my God. I hadn't even thought of that. I never thought acting would be so hard on your knees. But the reality is I'm constantly being thrown to my knees under gunpoint or whatever as some kind of a victim. As Guillermo del Toro says, he is a wonderful victim. Fred, so what else we got? Hello. The Rion Prius. Hello, Alicia Lauren. Bonnie needs coffee. I'll say she still needs coffee. Yeah. I almost fell back asleep and missed the chat opening. 6:30 a.m. What are you doing up at 6:30 a.m.? It's inhuman. It's unnatural. Nixie Geek. What are you saying here? Oh no, is Vinny what? Falling asleep. Oh boy. Everyone's falling asleep. I already had bad knees. Oh, yeah, I already had bad knees. Okay. What else we got in here? Who else is here? Who else have we got in here? That Nightbot I fall for every time. It's not actually a person. Well done, David. And Aquiatus. Did you think I get that right? Aquiatus. I never get it right. Damn it. I had it right for a while, but then you wait a week and it's gone out of my tiny little brain already. Captain Catherine, how are you? Babylonia 51. Lots of people today. Anyways, I wanted to share Anquiitis. Thank you, Anquiitis. Black Widow laser spiders. Yeah. I mean, they were so freaking cool. Can I share video? I wonder if I can. I wonder if I could figure out how to do that. Yeah, I don't want to break anything. Anyways, I've learned my lesson. My Stargate days, not to mess with anything. So yeah, it was extraordinary. It was really also just really fun to watch Baz in action too. I mean, Ham in action was just fantastic. Like he's talking up the spiders and telling people about the difference between venomous and poisonous and what they were doing and what they were listening to. And I mean, it's extraordinary. So he takes a little, what we should do actually, I should get him to see if I can get Andrew in. And we'll actually just film something live with the spider. In fact, you know what? I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him to do that. That's officially being added to my list of things to do. But get him in here and show you. But he's taking little tiny bits of reflective tape and sort of dropping them into the web, and then bouncing this Doppler laser vibrometer off of them, and you could hear the web moving. Like it's just. And these spiders, they go when they're, it's date night. They want to get the ladies' attention, so they're like strumming along on the web. Those are the false widows. The real widows, the real black widows. I just love that of all the spiders to bring in, he brings in black widows because element of danger. Whereas the real widows have this really cool system where the little jerk that is the male comes in and like goes and he sort of nibbles away at the web and then starts sort of fluffing it up and rolling it over into these little sort of pillowy chunks that make the web smaller and smaller, and he gets closer and closer to the Black Widow, and he'll put out a little leg, and she'll just go boom, just knock him out of the web. It's so cool, and it's just so fun to watch these teenagers sitting there watching the mating process of Black Widow spiders, and Andrew is just so wonderfully excited about it. It's just so much fun to watch, and I just freaking loved it. So I guess my point was I did a little Patreon thank you, and I actually did it in the email of awesomeness, which I screwed up this week. I spent so freaking long on that email, and then I somehow cut and pasted a chunk out, and it didn't make any. Anyways, but it was nice because I got to send out the No Way Out video. Separately, and that's been amazing because the response has just been extraordinary. Like I'm really excited because I've had a couple of respondents, but one of the guys who got back to me very, I'm quite honored that he did was this amazing games professor who is just, he's just a genius when it comes to this stuff, and he's already like making these amazing points about how to approach it and stuff, things to think about, things I hadn't thought of. He's this Scott Nicholson. His name's Scott Nicholson, and he's a Wilfrid Laurier University. I think he's still at Wilfrid Laurier. And every single time I went looking for something about escape rooms, this guy's name would come up attached to some amazing paper that I just read, or a Mark Rober video for that matter about escape rooms and stuff. And and like right away, first email back, he's got these great, laser focused points that I need to consider going forward and stuff. And I just, and there's always an interesting split between the real world and the film world. And not that this is a film. I'm trying to sort of avoid the whole film Hollywood bullshit stuff with this. I think it should be on YouTube because I just think I want it to be available to everyone. I don't think it wants to be some kind of a polished TV show thing that gets canceled at the whim of someone's girlfriend or something. I just think I'm so inspired by what Hacksmith's done. And I feel like if I can do something like that with Techbandits and this escape room thing, I just think that's the way to go. So anyways, just that, there's always a difference between the marketing and the reality, right? So, I have approached the marketing with this kind of like, escape room, blah. Like it's a bit like, it's like any idiot stumbling into an area that they don't know an awful lot about. I go for the simple approach, the stuff that attracted me to it, which is the idea of, the brain busting. How do you make it the most difficult room in the world? And his points were just so smart, where he was just saying like, you got to make sure that why these people are doing this, because anyone can escape and anyone can create an escape room that no one can get out of, that's miserable and dangerous and all the rest of it. But, it takes a real skill to create, obviously an escape room that is both fun and entertaining and challenging. And it was just such a good point. And I love that, this is why you surround yourself with people who are much smarter than you. Anyway, so I very much looking forward to hopefully talking to him more about it. It was very nice of him to get back to me, and it was very nice of who was it who got me in touch? It was Doug. Yeah, Doug was very, very kindly put me in touch with Scott about it, and I really appreciate it. People are just. I feel like we've hit on something that's really, really good here. Like it's something that kids want to be a part of. I think it's going to nurture a lot of really good science, technology, engineering, arts, and math stuff. And I want to design the system in a way. The idea here is just to have an escape room challenge, like a student's escape room challenge. University college type thing, where you get engineering students and drama students, art students and physics students, maths and biology students, and try to get as many departments in a university as possible together designing these rooms and competing for this, this whatever the silly prize is. But the idea that we would have. I would love the idea of like taking that and turning that into a channel of content that kids would watch because it's exciting and they're seeing, young, smart, intelligent kids similar in their own age working on this stuff. I think this is truly the only solution that I've come up with towards educational television, because I don't believe kids watch educational television. Kids television designed for kids. I think there's a very, very limited window in what they will watch. And then they want to watch what grown-ups are watching. And so you got to find something that grown-ups are watching, that grown-ups can watch and can enjoy, that isn't talking down to them. And I think watching a bunch of university students trying to figure out how to team together and build an escape room is far more exciting to me than watching half-dressed people on an island trying not to have sex or whatever it is they're watching right now. But again, obviously, I'm not competing with that. But the point is, I think that there is room for both of those things. I wish there was a little bit more room for the educational side of it. But I think if you can make this sort of a Mythbusteries kind of sort of study into the team building process and how to try to incorporate as many different facets of learning into the process, and then create a big party at the end for the the 4 finalists or whatever it is. I'm really, really excited about that, and I'm going to talk to I'm actually going to talk to the museum folks, the people who I was at TriCon. I'm going to talk to them tomorrow because they're a fount of knowledge and a wonderful space, and they're doing God's work. I don't believe in God, but they're working towards getting kids excited about art and science and educating them and stuff. And they're just a lovely, lovely bunch of people. So I would just absolutely love it if there's a way to work something out with them. Their space is gorgeous too, by the way. Absolutely. They've got this old department store and they've cut out the center of it. So it has all these really cool spaces. You come in and you look up and it's huge. And the basement is all a maker space. And they've got like t-shirt presses and 3D printers and these beautiful little Ozbots that you program by color coding with markers and stuff. It's just freaking awesome. Anyways, looks normal to me. What's that? Robot Wars is a good example of kids watching good made for adults TV that is sciencey. Yeah, I agree, Nixie Geek. In fact, excuse me, as I burp into the microphone. I love the idea of Robot Wars. The problem with Robot Wars is I think people are getting nervous about the idea of violent robot on robot battles because, let's face it, that's what Ukraine's turning into right now. I mean, we've got flying drones fighting flying drones. I mean, not poor. It's a fantastically, rich and productive country, but I mean poor in a sad sense. That country is being used as a freaking testing ground for all these new military drones, and while I don't. The fact of the matter is, I would love to watch BattleBots. I love watching BattleBots. Yes, there's absolutely an educational element to that. But I also feel like, first off, that's done. It's been done. It's been done very well. I think I'd like to see people build things and not just destroy them. Build things and destroy people. How's that? That's more of a approach to it. I don't know, but it's the thought. Got to get rid of that old stock somehow. Yeah, Mark Lapointe. That's absolutely it. I mean, they're talking about. There's a fascinating podcast that I listened to about a guy whose job he was a reporter, and his job now is to basically take apart drones and such, and weapons of any sort, and find out where they came from. And so these drones, he takes them apart and he looks at all the different components and where they could have come from, and and how surprising it is that so many of them are these little American parts that have been bought through, could be bought on Amazon or eBay or Alibaba or whatever those things are. So many different places that people can be picking up these parts because they're just electronics, right? So how do you stop people from building these things if the components are all standardized to things that people have access to? So this guy's job is like, maybe I'm a total nerd, but I would watch a show about that, about a guy who goes to war scenes, that goes to wars while they're happening and has to pull apart, munitions that didn't blow up and see where they came from and try to hunt down the idiots who sold this stuff. I mean, God, it'd be just amazing. Anyways, my daughter loves Robot Wars and Mythbusters. Well, then perfect Bonnie Needs Coffee, because then she's going to adore No Way Out. because the idea behind that is that you get a bunch of students working together to come up with these amazing escape room designs. And it's almost not about the escape room. The escape rooms are the excuse to get everyone together working on these things. And I think there'll be some sort of fun drama that will ensue with that. And what I'd like to do is have the university submit video along the way. Like part of the process of being in the contest is to submit like weekly updates about how they're doing and what they're working on, that kind of stuff. So that we could put together like a YouTube channel that can be seen by anybody about this stuff. Is there a way for me to stop autofocus on this? Let me see if I could do that, because it's making me feel dizzy. I can't imagine what it's doing to you. Configure video. Look at that. I can do that. Let me configure that video. Okay, that's come up. Let's go to camera control. Is it focused now? It's focused now, right? Okay. And now, how's that? God damn it. It's not really very good, is it? I'm partially blind anyways. It doesn't help. Okay, out of focus, in focus. How's that? You don't want it 2 in focus anyways. Okay, that is applied. Close. That should now stay. I'll just go in and out of focus as I wiggle about as I do. Have I missed people? I have. This has been a freaking hype train. I've missed everybody. What have I missed? Cal, who should I be thanking? Who should I be thanking? Who do I need to thank? Let's have a look here. I've got first time chat. That's amazing. What a great start. Hey, Waif1S. Wafis. Welcome. And thank you, Sir Charles T. Guru. That's amazing. Whatever I just said was amazing. So sweet and kind. Of the kids, I'm assuming. Yeah, it was fantastic. All right, greater than 3 could be more than boo. Oh, yeah, right, there you go. Greater than 3. Who knows that greater than 3 is supposed to be a heart when you look at it sideways? Kids these days. The best stuff ever are the things that kids make for you. That's true. It is true. We've got some pretty freaking ugly statues that we just can't throw out because Baz made them when he was a kid. First time chat from Ibelin93. Hello. What else we got? For another first time chat from Twerso. Hello to you too. Black Widow laser spiders. I know. You don't nuke it for more than... See, that was my feeling about spiders. Is I couldn't stand spiders. Not couldn't stand them, but I still am nervous about them. Because, I'm not just a coward on television. I don't just play a coward on television. I've always been a little arachnophobia. A little arachnophobic, I guess, would be probably the grammatically correct way of putting it. Well done, David. Headache. Did I mention the headache? And my IQ level. So the fact that I was a part of this laser spiders thing the first time that we did it at the elementary school. Get this: there was no space for us in the room. There was no room for us, so we set up in the hallway at lunch, and we had 5 Black Widow spiders on a table in the hallway that became packed with kids at lunch. Didn't think that one through. But it was amazing. I put like tape around it. People respected it. It was amazing. Had a great discussion with one of the kids about the legalities of bringing venomous spiders into the school. It was hilarious. Like talking about weird paths to learning. This kid was convinced that this was illegal. So I said, well, we should look it up. So I had him Google it and see if it was illegal to bring venomous spiders in. And it turned out it wasn't, but it was in fact, it would have been illegal if we'd brought mice. Don't know why, but I just thought that was interesting. He's going to be a lawyer, that kid, He'll go, the first people I sued. That was the damn Techbandits. Who else have I? Have I missed anyone else? Wolf Pup. We can hear some Discord pings in the background, by the way. Oh, okay, all right. Is venomous the ability to administer a toxin, whereas poisonous means the critters can be eaten for effect? Critters can be eaten for... I don't... That's a good question. This is a good question. I bet you somebody in the chat knows the answer to that. Crystal maze, but building the rooms. Yes, James. Yes, that's actually a good way of putting it. Yes, absolutely. Look, the fact of the matter is, there's nothing new to this. There have been escape room challenges before. I just like the idea of escape room challenges designed specifically for students in universities and colleges, because that is a great age where they're capable of showing kids younger than them and old kids like me, some creativity and some using of the tools that they're learning in school. I think that would be a great inspiration, very engaging for kids. And, let's ask a kid, shall we? Let's go and talk in the Discord. Have I missed anybody? Did I miss anybody? First time chat. Raphael OM, David, I love you. You rock. See, that's the way to do a first-time chat. Thank you, Raphael. It's very nice of you. Paperclips is subscribed, you wonderful Paperclips. How many months are you on? 36 months. That's 3 years. 3 freaking years. We've been doing this for 3 years? No wonder I look so old. I'm like the Twitch stream of Dorian Gray. Do us a favor and wipe some Vaseline on the lens. Thanks, James. Thanks for having my back, James. It's real sweet of you. Here we go. Maybe someday I can afford to get some voice acting for you for my game. I think it's a game that you would love. Lots of engineering and science on a huge space station. That sounds amazing. David I. Hewlett at gmail.com. Let me know what's up. Was just reminded me of when a friend called aujourd'hui greater than 3. Called aujourd'hui greater than 3. It's got a nice rhyme to it. First time chat from Jalali. Bonjour. Comment ça va? C'est français. Je pense. Elle est. How would you say? I don't speak French. A hallway full of kids and Black Widow spiders sounds like a perfect addition to an escape room. Exactly. An escape room no one would escape from. All right, let me go. What the heck? I did miss something. Holy crap. Anonymous gifter, you wonderful anonymous of gifters. That is very, very sweet of you. Gifting 5 subs. Wow. Thank you so much. Was it something I said? Why don't you shave your head? Why don't I shave my head? I've got to say, one of the things I've always wanted in my life, when I look forward to in my life, like people say, like, what's your plan in the future? My plan in the future is to have an absolutely mad head of hair. Like an absolutely crazy, electrocuted raccoon Einstein look. And as my hair grays, which it's doing rapidly now, it gets more and more sticky up. So I kind of want like sticky up hair. That's kind of my goal. I do shave my head every so often, and I quite like doing that too because it just feels great. The show I'm working on, which I'm not allowed to name yet, I guess, the wonderful effects extravaganza, VFX extravaganza sci-fi movie that's really cool, with people from other TV shows that are science fiction that are really cool, is the character I'm playing is kind of a sort of an eccentric. Definitely an eccentric. So I felt that bald might be a little more threatening. So I think shaggy and silly looking was going to help. Is going to soften the role a bit. So I'm going to be going with that. So that's why I haven't shaved my head. Oh my God, you didn't do another 5. No, I've rewound. Didn't I rewind? Okay. Jeez, I thought that anonymous guy was being or gal was being. Anyways, that's 3 times you've been spamming that. You got your answer. Now, geez, Louise. What's that? What was the question? Horrid 7. What was the question? Horrid 7. Horrid 7. I wait. Someone pissed off Cal. Look out. Don't mess with Cal. Whatever you do, she's in a bad mood. She's always in a bad mood. But you know, like I say, you should get her. You get her one-on-one in a Discord chat. It's like talking to Cinderella. It's all rainbows and unicorns and hearts and fluffy bunny rabbits. Tin J, thank you very much. Oh yeah, Cal is enjoying it, as she damn well should. I love Hammer too. My name is Cal, bright and cheerful. I'm all rainbows and unicorns. What would anyone do without me? I am the hammer of justice, the Hewlett conscience, our truth speaker, and our little stormy cloud in the chat. Hugs! I can almost feel Cal like just, you know, cringing as I say that. I'm sure. Oh my days. See, look, oh my days. She's as old as I am. She's as boomer as I'm ever going to be. Thank you very, very much, Mad Jabstick, Majestic, for your subscription. It's very kind of you. And now, why don't I do this? Killing you with a smile and laughter. Exactly, Mark Lapointe. Exactly. All right, let me go to the chat. I gotta. You know, no one wants to listen to me babbling on. Let's go see what some tech bandit folks are up to. Who have we got in here today? Hello. Sorry, I realized my headphones got bored of me and turned off. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Guy Pup? Or Wolf Pup Jr.? I'm good and bad at the same time.
What? How is that even possible, Vibe Pup?
Well, I have a cold. It's not COVID.
Oh.
And you know how we had the science fair?
Yeah.
We won an award.
Shut the front door. Seriously? Why is that bad?
Boom.
No,
Well,
that's good news.
I was kidding. Yeah. Dude, what did you win?
Most knowledgeable.
Shut the front door. Seriously?
Yeah,
Dude, that's like got to be the best one.
kinda.
Yeah, no kidding. You're the one who knows the most about the thing you made?
Yeah.
What? Now, remind everybody what you did. Let everyone know. Sing your own praises.
We did our project about light and color and just kind of piled on a crap ton of information, which is why I think we got it.
It sounds like it. That's amazing. So, do you get like an award or something? Do you get like a plaque to put on your wall, or what do you get?
Yeah, a little paper reward. But the bad thing is, I haven't got it yet because I'm sick, and I'm probably not going to be here Friday.
Oh no.
So that means I won't be getting it for a long, long time.
But you know you've got it.
Next week is March break.
Yeah, I know.
March break.
I know, and you know what sucks about it is that it's March break for Baz too. And what am I doing? I got to go to Winnipeg. I got to go film in Winnipeg, so I'm literally missing the March break with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
absentee father.
Absentee
Oh,
father,
my.
absentee frozen fish. That like I am going to be so cold. It's minus 20 there today. I look at the.
Wow.
Sorry, it's all about me. Okay, so you're not. But it doesn't matter that you don't have the award, right? I mean, the fact is you've won the award. You're written down as the person who did this, right? I mean,
Yeah.
did you sort it out with your friend? You said your friend
Oh.
and you were like battling over who was doing more or whatever it was, or you felt that you were maybe picking up some slack on that.
No, he did the board, and I got all the information as how he did it.
Really, you got the
nice.
knowledge? Did you?
Kinda.
That's freaking awesome. Oh man, your folks must have been thrilled.
I don't have the thing yet, so yeah, they do find it cool, but I don't have the thing yet, so.
So yeah, I guess it would be nice to have the thing and go like, in your face, parents, and then just like show it to them and go, now, how much pizza does this buy me? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Look, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. How many? What was like? So, give me some other. What was some of the other things that were being built there or made there?
There was this really cool one where you blew into this tube and it would light up a light, and you showed there's no batteries or anything. It was from him blowing on it, which caused it.
What? How did they do
Yeah.
that?
I don't know.
Was it like a little generator? Was there a little electric motor that was turning or something? Or what was the? How did it? The only way I could think of doing that was either some chemical thing or there was like a turbine of some sort in the balloon or something.
I've known people that had to blow into their a tube on their car to make it start.
Oh, that's like the
But that was-
anti-alcohol thing, right?
Yeah, court
Yeah.
mandated kind of thing. But
Oh, really?
still
They do that?
science.
They mandate that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
But that would be electrically powered anyways, though, right?
I didn't get to see it, but it was pretty cool.
That is kind of
Just
neat.
thinking about it, it has to change. Like the alcohol, I don't know what would be the difference between alcohol breath and regular breath, conductivity of some sort. I don't know.
Well, it's electronic, isn't it? So it must be detecting particles. Maybe the particles adhere to some kind of a plate or something, and make it more conductive or less conductive or one of those things. Maybe
Something like that, right?
I'm sure someone in the chat will have an example of that somehow.
I was gonna say you have to blow into your car to start it, but I decided, that's a little too close. A little too close.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lance Carr, or as better known as Gimpy G.
Yes. Showing discretion.
The comedy
What's going on?
stylings, the careful comedy stylings of
Yes.
Gimpy G. Is James here? He'd know. Great.
James is up here somewhere.
He is.
I wanted to talk with him.
Oh, do you? But what do you want to talk to him about?
This whole uh, uh, the COVID virus, perhaps escaping from a lab thing. I'm fascinated.
Yeah. I mean, this is the problem with this whole news cycle, isn't it? Is that, it was raging crazy conspiracy theorists, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I mean, does it matter in a way? Like, really, does it matter?
Well,
The fact of the matter is, it's.
yes, because
Hmm?
I want to dunk on my boomer cousins and uncles
Oh,
because
okay.
they said
As long as it's personal
it's
for you.
just yeah. As long as I get
As long as the
into it.
entire
Because
pandemic
they get
makes you win $5 in a
not even
bet.
$5, more of a smug look I can cast in their direction.
Right. Okay. Very good. Very good. I look forward to seeing
Because they
your
kept
smug look.
saying they didn't get the shot because it's just the ordinary flu. But then they also used to put out the conspiracy theory that it came from a lab and designed to kill.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like, well, okay, which is it? Is it the flu?
We're all doing that, though, right? Aren't we? Isn't it like every country
No.
working on some kind of disease to
to
end all diseases and wipe out our enemy and all that crap?
Wait, what do they call that though? Extended? No. James, what do they call that when you increase the effectiveness of a virus or add something?
Oh, right. Like weaponize it?
Rate.
Like weaponize it?
Yeah. But not even weaponized. Extended function?
Gain of function.
Something like that.
Gain of function,
Gain
says
of
James
function.
Arger.
Okay.
Hello, James. James has very kindly invited me to do a D&D thing with him. I'm gonna probably mess up some children's charity by screwing up on a D&D game of some sort. So
Well, if you need somebody, James, I'll be there.
You need someone to really screw up.
Fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really screw up big time. This is your man right here.
Big time.
Lance.
But then turn it back around. That's my specialty.
Exactly.
Turn it back around. Make it look like it's your fault.
Now, Vipup, what do you have planned for the March break? Anything good?
Vipup.
Well, I bought a game.
Wow, this is the new game. Son of a what?
Sons of the Forest.
Son of a Forest. Right. Oh, got it. Right. Oh, right. The scary one.
Sons of the Forest.
I like Son of a Forest better.
Like,
it sounds more rude.
Is his mic blowing out a little bit for anybody else, or just me?
What was that? Who's blowing out?
It seems like Wolf Pup's voice is like hitting a gate.
Vipup, talk to us for a second.
Hello.
Yeah, it does sound a bit funky, doesn't it?
Like it's nailing the top.
Are you
turn it down a bit?
Yeah, you may want to just adjust it a little bit, because poor little. How's that?
You can't tell.
Alright, so that's the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to Discord.
That already sounds better. It already
does, yeah.
It just has a weird crackly sound.
Yeah, right at the top.
That might be because I dropped my microphone.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely
Nice.
because that was bad there for some reason. You dropped it. Is there something loose in it now? I hate that when you drop something. There's like a loose bit, but it's still kind of working, and you're not sure what it is.
Yeah.
I just went to the voice audio thing, and it sounds completely.
It sounds a lot better. Yeah,
right.
It sounds good down, buddy.
The audio engineer that is Vipup has figured out the most knowledgeable science fair exhibit, ladies and gentlemen. Vipup. So
got questions, Vipup.
So you're never leaving your house for a week because you're going to be playing Son of a Forest.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That sounds like what Baz wants to do too. I think. I was like, well, you could come to Winnipeg with me. He's like, or not. Actually, we have a friend of his. Actually, the laser spiders. Look, how do I make this work? Bag of Chips. His father is the laser spiders guy, so he's the brilliant guy who brings in laser vibrometers and his wife's Black Widows, because his wife has the largest collection of Black Widows on the planet, and he's the one who without batting an eyelid, discusses spider sex with an entire packed room of teenagers. Yeah, it was hilarious.
May I ask you, did you pick up any information there, or what was the Mark female, or
Yeah, there's
what
a
do you call
mock
that?
there's a mock widow. It's like the actor of the Black Widow world, where where a lesbian Jedi just followed us. How great is that?
Yay!
Um, Thank you very much, lesbian Jedi. That's very kind of you to follow. I think you'll enjoy yourself here. It's a good bunch in
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's neat about this whole thing is I'm not sure that I learned any dating things. I learned that the dating world in the insect world or the arachnid world is just freaking ugly. It's mean,
Oh, sure,
it's
yeah.
ugly, and it's gross. Like these male spiders, they literally like they get their stuff on their front like legs and they're like punching the freaking Black Widow, trying to hit the right
Oh.
spot with these little. They're like, ha! You wanna?
Actually,
Yeah.
I've seen this behavior at a bar before.
Well,
More of a honky tonk
there's a
kind of
certain
bar, yeah.
male. There's a certain toxic masculinity to it. But what's funny is
Yeah.
like I'll have to edit the video together because there's a great. I got a great shot of this little spider making its move on this huge black wood. It's making its move, and it puts out a leg, and it comes back, and it puts out a leg, and it comes back. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in. And she just turns around and goes, bang, and just knocks him, like literally right out of the
Wow.
web. Like he's like in the air going, oh, and then like out of the web, and then he's back in there again. It's freaking awesome. You know what I mean? I would say
Yeah.
maybe more men should watch Black Widow mating so that they can
See?
realize that they are in fact not the dominant species. They are not the dominant sex
I
of the
thought-
species. Yeah.
What do you think of this, David?
Mm.
Gun laws. Only females can carry weapons. Only the female of the species.
Yeah, I mean,
What I
maybe.
like about that is they don't go around shooting people because their feelings got hurt or they are angry that night and have to show how macho they are.
I don't know though, but
And
aren't
it
there?
evens up to
There's still accidental shoot. I mean, part of the problem with the guns for
There
me
are.
is just is the accident. Wasn't there that crazy woman whose kid shot her because he was playing with her gun in the back seat of the car while they were driving or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like crazy like that? There was
Sure.
some. I mean,
I'm just saying you cut it back by 90%.
yes, that's true,
With my idea.
dude.
Plus,
I think
men
males should just get out of the
beat up
whole
females.
everything. Frankly,
Just go, hit the shower, fellas.
yeah, we'll just make art and things. We'll just like go. We'll just paint and make dinner and stuff. Like I'm up for that. I think we should force men into the role that women had for the last God knows how long, and just I think I don't know about you, but I've been sort of playing mom for a while because Jane is so busy with all the film stuff. So I'm sort of trying to do as much as I can to make breakfasts and lunches and dinners and all that kind of stuff. And I'm actually really enjoying it. I actually really, it's challenging. I mean, it's some difficult stuff there. And it's that sort of ridiculously traditional female role which just doesn't make any sense anymore. So maybe just guys should just go into that. Get out of politics. Get out of business. We're all, for so long we've been rewarded for our bad behavior. I feel like it's almost time to move on. A world of passive aggressiveness. I love it. There you go. Heck no, my husband cooks better than I do. Yeah, there you go.
At least it's not aggressiveness. It's a slight change.
Sarah Owen's like, I have to get a real job? No, don't be silly. We're all gonna be. This is gonna be like a universal income, and AI will do everything for us. By the way, thank you, Lance, for being the first and potentially only person to notice that I completely screwed up my email of awesomeness this week. By the way,
Did you accidentally take something from a different doc and paste it in there?
well, no, actually, it was the opposite. I accidentally took the beginning of that document out. I was toying with whether or not to bore people with it. I thought it should be a separate email. So I took out the first half and didn't take out the second half. But it actually worked out really well because I got to put out I think it makes some more sense for it to be a separate email anyways. So I did a separate email today with everything about the no way out thing. And again, very early days on this, but yeah.
Yeah. I've been listening to that. It's so fantastic. I'm on your side, or at least the side of the fellow you contacted.
Mm.
The idea of escape room or building one isn't to make it escape proof. It's to make it escape-ish
Yes.
proof.
Yeah,
You
it's
definitely want it to be escapable.
and enjoyable.
And
I mean, yes.
But you have to give clues. You have to be clear about those clues. Did you ever play Zelda, like Breath of the Wild?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't, but I watched Baz do a lot of it.
Right, and you'll come across the clearing. It's
I get
a
motion
circle
sickness.
of rocks.
Yes.
Oh, it's so sad.
It is
So
very
you see a
game-like.
circle of rocks.
It's very video game-like, the escape room
Right,
thing.
and you have to throw something in there. But, you just start playing around and figure it out. So you have to leave clues, really good clues.
And what's great is this isn't my problem. This is the problem of the people who have to design this stuff, which I love.
But, okay, are you going to have college kids design the rooms and high school kids escape them?
Well, I don't exactly know, but I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. I mean, Jane suggested, and I thought she had thank you for it. Now, Lesbian Jedi has not only joined, they've now subscribed as well. Obviously, we said the right.
You, Jedi.
It's because of you, isn't it? It's because of Lance.
Well, I got to ask Lesbian Jedi. Baby Yoda, the best, right? Okay, go ahead, Dave.
The Mandalorian's back.
Jane
You got to
said
be excited about that, right?
I am so freaking excited. And Baby Yoda's got Mandalorian armor and possibly Yoda's old lightsaber.
I'm excited to completely ignore it and not watch a single episode because I give up on Marvel. How's that?
You're dead inside, David.
I know I am. I'm dead inside. I'm like the crust of an old man. Oh, that sounds horrible. Yes, you're right. I'm like
sounds about right, though.
I'm a fossil who can't. I'm watching Last of Us, and I'm finding it too depressing.
What?
Yeah, it's too depressing. What do you mean how? Everyone dies all the time. It's horrible.
I'm even watching it. I'm like watching it with a smile on the face.
But look. I'll remind you, Vibe Pup. When we met you, you were there was a gun involved in everything you ever talked about.
True.
Yeah. No. Look, I think it's brilliantly acted. I question some of the stuff in it. I miss the spores. And I don't want to, there's no spoilers involved here, but I miss the spores. Like, I think that the spores, like, part of the paranoia of it, when I heard that the guy who did Chernobyl was doing it, I was like, oh, he's going to do such a good job because of that horrible feeling that you didn't want to breathe while you were watching Chernobyl because you didn't want to take in any of the radiated air. Whereas I thought, if in this, I thought, oh God, they're going to be so paranoid about covering their faces. It's so brilliant. No, don't even address it. I'm like, what? What about the spores? I like this. The spores were the fun part to me. Anyways, Vonnie needs coffee. My daughter's up. Walks in. This guy again?
What was Jane's idea?
Guy.
Also, let me apologize to chat. I haven't seen any of the new stuff.
Right.
These are my wishes that Baby Yoda has.
Oh, I see. Those are your fan predictions.
I'm about ready for Baby Yoda's step up and take some people on. Oh. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just waiting for waiting for Marvel to screw up. That's what I'm waiting for. The Ant-Man had the largest drop off of any movie in a long time. It's so
Nobody
bad.
Really cares about the Ant-Man.
I know but the first one at least had a heart to it. This one apparently, people went to see it and then were like, the drop off was like an 80% drop off or something crazy. Like, there's literally no good word of mouth about it. And I really like Paul Rudd. I think that guy's a lovely guy. Again, the cast looks good. I just feel like they're so enamored with their stupid visual effects now that it's like they've forgotten.
Oh, really enamored. Okay.
Well, they've forgotten that we actually we're people. We care about people. We've seen all these effects. We can watch them on YouTube if we want to. We can see effects. Give us a good story. Surprise us, for God's sake. Anyways, he does seem like an awesome
humans,
dude.
So we need the story.
Yes, story is yes.
Effects in the world without story is nothing.
All right, now, so Jane's suggestion, which I thought was really smart, she said maybe to sort of pique people's interest, we could do a one-off escape room design contest where we could sort of iron out some of the bugs, get a couple of local universities to do something. We could film a little sizzly reel type thing, little bits and pieces of it being made and done. And then you can use that to sort of start a little bit of a YouTube channel happening, get people interested, find out who's...
Jane is smart.
She is very smart. But she wants me to go to TV.
We throw you in the first one. We put you in the first escape room. Slowly, it fills with water. You're screaming with your face against the wall. I don't understand prime numbers. Something like that. I don't know.
I'm only
I'm just
smart on
spitballing.
TV. Yeah, that would be. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Uh,
I I hope to escape the escape room by just hosting. That's my goal is to just host, and that we have to incorporate the Gimpy G screen in somehow. I love the idea of being
nice.
of like being MODOK, like of being me and
Yes.
having you in the like. There's just something kind of fun about that. It's just something weird. And this is the joy of doing it not on television. You don't have to have people say, you don't have to have TV execs going like, well, but why would you have, I don't understand. I don't think the Gimpy in the chest doesn't resonate with me. It's like, no, we get to just do what the hell we want. And that's, I think, important because I think that's also, let's ask Vibe Pup. Vibe Pup, what do you think? Escape room challenge? Would you watch something like that where you watch a bunch of kids like building escape rooms and coming up with ideas and stuff?
I think it would be funny to see them try to get through like a hard escape room, but I don't think much people would watch them making the escape rooms and stuff.
You don't think they would watch like the trials and tribulations? Like I keep thinking of like it's like a group of people were trying to work together. So you'd also get the documenting of all of their not getting along and people having temper tantrums and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Little drama.
The human part, the story we were just
but that's good to know though. But your interest in the escape room is the escape room, not the process of building the escape room. Vibe Pup?
How about Vibe Pup, sorry.
My mic is muted. Whoops. I think they would much rather like to watch people struggle and like scream like how do I get out of the escape room and stuff rather than people actually using their brain and figuring out how to escape it.
What about screaming because they've got their hand caught in some of the they got their hand caught in some kind of machinery of some sort. All right. Well, we got to figure out a way to make it interesting. Prepare for troubles now following. So prepare for trouble, everybody. All right. Well, that's good to know. I mean, here's the thing that really clinched it for me was I was talking to my nieces and their friend. And I mentioned the idea of trying to do a show with escape rooms and stuff. And they were like, oh my God, can we compete? And I was like, well, no. The idea would be that. And then I was like, wait a sec. I'm saying no to a bunch of kids who want to build something. And that's when I went like, wait, what am I doing? Like that's exactly the response I want. Girls. They're college girls. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So have you watched mini shows like this, like where they're supposed to build things there was a show called Face Off.
Yeah.
Where they did sci-fi makeup.
Yeah. That was pushing
but then they also they brought in consultants though. Yeah. Like engineers and stuff to build the body.
Like Forged in Fire and all those ones.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I'm wondering, do you have to have an engineer there who could also tell you like, oh, that's not going to work because blah, blah, blah.
I think that's the idea.
I guess, I could do that.
But that's exactly the idea. Like, is that resources and money and time available. I would love to have people weighing in all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to have people who know what they're talking about. Look, I would love to persuade Scott, this games guy, to come in and be, our resident expert in escape room design. I mean, he's got the skills and the knowledge and the background of this stuff. I just want to facilitate it. I just want to, and I also want to turn it into a show because I think that as a YouTube channel, that is something that I would check in on once in a while to see how my favorite team was doing or my favorite university or my whatever college or, I just think that'd be kind of cool, especially once you're in university. It'd be kind of cool to see how your university's pulling it off.
I just kind of came up with like a side idea that maybe like for a change of pace, could you have a few episodes of escape room businesses?
Yeah.
Like Randy or other, because there's people trying to make a living at it. It'd be neat to have them come in and compete.
Yeah, or we could even interview them. Like we could talk to them. Yeah. We could go talk to them about, what would be the biggest tip, what are the best tips you've got for these design teams,
there you go.
Like that kind of stuff.
Perfect.
Escape room engineers react.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
And they could they could do a Zoom chat or whatever with that
Yeah.
escape room
That's it.
professional, and we get to hear. Yeah.
Well, or get university,
give them
also
back some
get
flavor.
university professors in as well, right? Like you get someone like Scott and some engineering guys and some physics guys. I
Yeah, no,
don't mean
well,
guys, by the way. I mean that in a general people
we
sense.
mean that as in females too.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and I love the idea of having different themes as well. Like, you know, what theme are you choosing? Or maybe we have a theme every time. And Vibe Up, feel free to leap in here if you've got any ideas. But you know, if it have a theme for the show, like maybe like it's horror one time, and then it's well, the oh my god, the twins, my nieces came up with this amazing idea. They were like, what about a floor is lava escape room? And I was like, ooh, that's cool. Imagine that. You would have to design an escape
It's so
room.
hard to
Yeah.
type in lava though.
Like,
That's
I
hard.
know, and people will die. People will lose limbs in the process.
You know,
But like that would be
how
a
come my
really
Darth
fun.
Vader survived it?
They all design. They end up
Okay.
floating by on little islands of it, and then it's like, you know, and then
Yeah.
they disappear off camera and they get rescued later somehow. I never figured that out. Like they couldn't touch the floor. Exactly. Like maybe the floor lights up as you go along. The floor starts to light up more and more, or something like that. I mean, there's just so many fun ways of approaching
And if
this
half
stuff.
the units get lit up, boom, you're done.
Mm. Yeah, the lava room
like
needs
that, too.
sofa cushions for safety. I like that.
Yeah, you throw in pillows and cushions
Yeah.
and
I-
stuff.
I think
I
that's
love it.
freaking. And again, that's not my idea. That is a university student who's taking kinesthesiology or whatever they call. I never get it right, but kinesiology. I don't know. There.
That's when you at the study of Sam Kinison and his jokes.
Exactly. He's dead, isn't he?
Oh, way dead.
Yeah, like a
Like
long time ago.
1990 or something.
It was.
Like that.
I thought so. Yeah.
He got killed though by like a drunk driver. It sucks.
Was it?
Yeah.
I just
you would
assumed
think.
it was cocaine or something. He was
Oh,
like the
probably.
original
I mean, by
cocaine
now
bear,
he'd
wasn't
be
he? I
dead.
mean, that's yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah.
But somebody flipped across. Yes, he was. He was, including the mauling people.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
so yeah, somebody like came into his lane and
The floor. Yeah, it's true. The floor wasn't lava for us, the Nick. It was. I can't remember what it was, but it was like you can't touch the floor.
we
I
always
remember
said,
that.
Shark.
Oh,
in the
shark! Oh
water,
my god! I used to
shark
get
in
kind
the
of
water."
panicky too. Like if you got on the floor. Oh yeah, and I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean, I think again, what I love about this concept more than anything is the idea that I've been hunting for something that makes sense to me as an educational show, because I just
And people want to watch it.
that people want to watch and that kids want to watch, except Vibe Pub. No. Vibe Pub will
Well,
watch elements of
Vibe
it.
Pub, it's like for NASCAR. Vibe Pup watches for the crashes.
Huh.
Okay, that's the same thing here.
Great. Well, again, and I think, and look, I mean, you know, you can have the stream. I think part of the process of these teams submitting would be that they would have to weekly give us updates and interviews and little problems they came across, and you can have little squabbles and you can see what they're working on. The issue that I have is how much we can show, because you don't want to give away all of the surprises, so that you don't want the other teams,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. So
No,
that
you could do it though.
yeah, I think so too.
It-
I think so too.
A lot of the stuff where they're talking back and forth with the expert, you would show the expert saying, "Well, you got to make sure there's a clue here or a mechanism that does something like this." It wouldn't give it away at all, especially as it comes together. Because doesn't there also have to be a story of some
Well,
sort? to the
and
room?
that's what I like about
Like
it
a
as
theme.
well. And this is
Yeah.
why I think there should be points given to the team with the most variety of departments involved, right? Like if you just have engineering and I don't know, engineering and construction or something. Like I mean,
Yeah.
then I feel like that you don't get as many points as if you have somehow figure out how to get biology in there and physics and math and history and drama, and you know, the more departments and interests that are involved in the project, I think should give you more points towards a chance at the finals type thing, you know.
Well, I love it, dude. I love it.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. Really excited. And I'm going to talk to the museum folks tomorrow, which I'm also really excited about. The museum is this place in Kingston, Ontario, which is just this spectacular place. And partially because it's like, for me, it's like a dream world because it's all about science and learning and art and learning. And, so it's, I'm a kid. I feel I'm kid. It feels like kin to me because of it's our shared sort of goals. It's also just a beautiful space. So I just love the idea that even if it's just the first attempt at a contest like this, that we could do it somewhere like that,
What was your muse, buddy? When did this? It was Hacksmith, wasn't it?
It was a combination. It was a combination of things. Like all Eureka moments, I think it was a combination of things. It was, obviously Randy the Magic Man doing our escape room chat.
Right.
And I was doing research before I talked to Randy on the actual show because I wanted to at least have an understanding of what we were going to be talking about. So yeah, a combination of that. And then, as I say, talking to my nieces and their excitement at the idea of actually doing it. And I'm like, wait a second, they don't want to see people do stuff. They want to do it. Right? And that's kind of what you want. Like, I bet you throw Vipup at an escape room problem. Vipup's going to go freaking nuts having a great time coming up with really good ideas. Certainly knowledgeable ones, given the awards he's had.
Shooting his way out. That's all. I'm just...
And he's shooting his way out. He's shooting his way out. That's true. Yeah. Shoot the lava. Shoot the lava. So it was that. And then it was the Hacksmith. The Hacksmith was definitely an inspiration because I realized just how well he built a bit. Hey, man, just subscribe. Thank you very much.
Hey, man.
Just how much he'd achieved doing what he loved doing on YouTube. And I thought, if I could find something that I love doing that could also be monetized the way Hacksmith is monetized. I mean, nowhere near as much. Like, I don't expect to get Hacksmith numbers. I just thought it was a great example of someone doing cool stuff that is inspiring to kids. I mean, so I was at the community center wearing my Hacksmith jacket. And 2 or 3 kids came up to me and said, "Oh my God, you work with the Hacksmith?" And I'm like, no, but I met him and he's really cool and you'll love him. And oh my God, isn't he the best? And like, it was an in for me with kids at the community center. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody over 20 would know what the hell I was talking about. Right? Because it's all, there probably are people over 20, but for the most part, the most voracious watchers of his stuff are probably in their, our university students and kids, right?
Yeah.
Hey, wait a sec, Wolf Pup. What if we got Hacksmith to be one of the judges? Then you'd watch.
Moist Critical.
Probably.
How about Moist Critical?
Would you watch dude, them? Man. That would be actually, but that's a good way of doing it. Actually, in fact, you could even have celebrity escape room things where they have to build an escape room, right? I mean, you could invite them to come and do an escape room or something, right? There's just so many different ways around this. I registered the domain escaperoom.tv. How about that for a great domain?
Nice. And No Way Out, right?
And No Way Out.
Get that
I got No Way Out as well.
Okay.
Although no, did I? I can't remember now.
Everybody
no, you know what? I don't think.
Go.
I don't think I got No Way Out. I think I tried a bunch of stuff. I got universityescape.com. I was trying to just like a bunch of different ones because I'm like a what's it called? An impulse buyer of domain names. I don't know why, but it's like I want to collect all of them. So but the one I sort of settled on because I thought it was the easiest to remember and would probably be the easiest from a ranking standpoint because it has escape room in it. The problem with No Way Out is that there's no escape room in the title. And for things like Google and that kind of stuff, escape room it's important to have in there. I don't remember.
But you put that in as the hashtag. Is it available?
Is what available? No Way Out?
No Way Out.
I feel like I tried. I don't know if I've got it. Let me see what manage. I'm going to manage my domains. Let me see what I've got.
And then while you're doing that, let me say, somebody earlier asked you why you don't shave your head. Oh my God. That was...
I don't like where this is
people
going.
ask me the same thing.
Why don't you shave your head?
I don't like the inference.
Well, why don't you shave my head?
But people ask me, why don't I have my head shaved? Because we have similar follicle challenges.
The Island of Lost Hope. We both have the Island of Lost Hope.
Imagine pulling up to a guy that looks like me in the wheelchair and be like, oh gosh, how long do you have to live? That kind of stuff. Does the chemo make you feel bad? So no.
Just
Plus,
enough to
I
make
have a
people
double
question.
chin, double chin.
Just
Yeah,
enough to
yeah.
make people question how long you'll be around for. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Because
I should shave my head
and-
for sympathy, is what you're saying.
I'm saying if it comes around to it,
Right.
like when you're fundraising for this project.
Don't specifically say I have cancer, but sort of imply it. This could be the last. This could be the last. This could be the last escape room challenge that he'll be able to do because of his haircut.
I'd be willing to let Trent, like put me in bed and have my head shaved, and I'll have like oxygen next to me, and like
no one would notice. No one would notice if you shaved your head. I don't know that people would notice if I shaved my head. That's like I do not have No Way Out, and in fact, I realize now looking at it that No Way Out is actually a series of escape rooms in England. There's like a company that does a bunch of them.
Really?
So, and I also,
Bastards.
I feel a certain amount of ownership on it because one of the things I say in Cube is there is no way out. Like, I feel like it makes sense. In fact, I wrote a little page.
K-N-O-W?
Yeah, I did a little page on you have to go check out techbandits.org. Not you, Gippy, but everyone else. Go have a look because I've been tweaking with the website a bit. I've also come up with this idea. See what you think of this. Just my wife is like, I don't know. So there's actually a No Way Out. There's a No Way Out section on our website, which is kind of fun. But the one I wanted to run by you, Gippy G, which I thought might be kind of neat, was what about this as an approach? What if I say we provide unique educational experiences for kids of all ages while exciting a lifelong love of learning? That's our pitch. And then the sort of someone said I needed a call to action, so I thought that sounded very professional. So so this was my call to action, which I thought was good. If you've got a business or organization that cares about the future and wants to make a positive difference in the world and increase sales and awareness, contact us, and we'll design original, creative, cost-effective, and uniquely savvy social promotions and events tailored to your business or organization. What about that? So in other words, use education and educational events, so a company, like perfect example, there's a new game that's out. I should find the new game actually. There's a new game that's coming out where you design these mazes for people to die in, basically. And I went, "Oh my God. Like what a great promotion for them."
Yeah.
So I tweeted them. But so to me, that's like saying like, look, we'll come up with great ideas, ways of spending your money on our making learning fun for kids, and you get all the benefits. Everyone goes, "Oh, you're so great for doing an escape room," and then they can pay us, and then I can buy an island.
Now, is the at a reasonable cost, is that necessary, or just is that boomer language? Do you have
is
to
that
say
boomer language? I don't know. I just thought.
I don't know.
Well, I just thought because I don't think I'm very extravagant. Like I feel like I'm more like my approach to stuff tends to be in a way more MacGyver than Coppola.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I would say do it. Yeah.
But maybe don't say that it could be done cheap. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's good.
If they want cheap, they can go somewhere else.
I mean, that's interesting.
Like how are we going to get the Boston Dynamic robot if we say that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Wait, Boston Dynamics should sponsor us.
Well, here's the funny thing. Well,
ride one of those dogs.
I mean, well, so this is the thing is, I feel like, first off, if you establish something like this, I feel like you've got, what the markets that the film and TV advertisers, all this crap, all the companies, they all want to appeal to young adults so that they can hook them on their crap for the rest of their lives. So I say,
what is it, 18 to 34?
Exactly. So that's perfect. Okay. We are at the front end of 18 to 34 because we're talking to kids who are going into university, who are in university, who are smart enough to be in university, who win most knowledgeable awards. Like this is our lifeblood. And the idea that it's an overly complicated way of saying like, look, just sponsor us and you'll feel like a freaking $1 million. People will be drawn to your stuff because they'll go,
Right.
"Oh, what a great idea." And at the same time, you'll be educating people. So that's my pitch now. Because the reality is, I want to spend more time on this. I've got to start earning some money with it. I just doesn't. I won't be able to.
Right.
You know, I'm already belly aching to my wife about. She's like, I was like, come on, you gotta start making movies that make money. How are you gonna keep me in the manner to which I want to be accustomed if you're not making tons of money on it? If you're not making giant blockbuster Marvel movies. Anyways, dang, says Gertie. What's that?
What was that you said? A call to action.
Yes.
So, like, if I was to say to chat, hey, everybody, you should subscribe or make a donation because Dave uses this money for extremely good causes.
Like, what about you? Shouldn't you be hawking? You should be hawking your. What about the Gimpy G Fund? Don't you need a van?
I need a van really, really badly so I can go to the doctor. And then, like James Gurney told me, there is a new medicine for muscular dystrophy that could very likely help me, but you have to get some kinds of testing.
Is this the what's it called again? What is it called?
It's not Spinraza.
Not Spinraza.
James Gurney. No, it's something more reasonable.
Really?
And being covered by like Medicaid and things.
Anyways,
if I had a vehicle, a van with a wheelchair lift and such, I could go to these other towns.
Right.
Because here they can't even take my blood.
Right. I know they need like tiny needles.
Well, no, they need a lot of skill because I got stuck 13 times with it's Risdiplam.
I feel like someone else. They should let McKay name things like that because that's a bad Risdiplam. I don't want.
Let's put the emphasis on the plan. Risdiplam.
It just makes you feel like a lizard saying it. Risdiplam.
You're right. Tongue action.
You know, I saw a Mercedes Sprinter van. Get this. There's a TV show up here called something. Can't remember the name of it. Shoot. It was some kind of detective.
Wow, I'm amazed.
It was some kind of detective show, and they were having like an auction. Like I get these emails about auctions for TV shows and stuff, and you know, because maybe I want to go in and buy the back of my chair from Stargate or something, and they were advertising this 2016 Mercedes Sprinter van for like $20,000 Canadian.
Well, right, and that's where we kind of get okay. Only certain vans have the structural integrity to take on these lifts and things.
Oh,
so it's not just any van.
So,
also,
but the Sprinter vans aren't. I thought the Sprinter vans were the ones that were able to do that.
I don't know. I've only seen like certain Ford vans, and mine was a Toyota something. Like a Toyota. But the best kind for me, because you know I don't have any head control and stuff, is like the van sinks down like a lowrider and then tilts to the side slightly, and then a ramp can go out onto the curb or onto the street, and then we just take me out of this very mild thing, and then when the door shuts, the van goes back up. Yeah, so
it's got like lifters and stuff. Well,
yeah,
Lance, let me throw this at you.
Go ahead.
There must be other people in a similarly restricted movement way in your...
Correct.
Well, could you group together and buy a van?
I mean, how do I say this? All those people have kind of... They're not visible. I don't know of them. They don't go to school. They're not. There's one gal I know who got her neck broken, but she got everything bought.
Right.
Because it was a car accident.
What? So insurance covered everything.
Correct.
I just wondered if there was a way of like having some kind of like a shared van where you can just pop. Like we have Commune Auto here, where you can, but when the car is not in use, you could just book it type thing. I just wondered maybe there's a way of booking it for.
That would be nice
because you don't need it every day,
like
right?
A rental or something. No, but it sure would be nice if I wanted to go to the store
Yeah,
or,
on a second's
you
notice
know,
type thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
just for the heck of it,
Yeah.
just, hey, Lance wants to smell air and see people.
Yeah.
And that doesn't come up often, so it'd have to be more of a real spur of the moment thing. Perhaps I'm drunk. I don't know.
I mean, and how far away is your? Well, I guess no. It does need to be a van, doesn't it? It's not like you can't sort of hop on some kind of electric vehicle or something. It's because that's just not. That's just too much
No, yeah.
infrastructure involved.
When we had that emergency in August,
Mm.
and I had to get the surgery,
See you, Alicia.
it was awful.
Right.
Bye, Alicia.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyways, yeah, sister and Trenton had to put me in the back of a
The landscaping
Bronco?
van.
No, something like that.
Oh, the Bronco. Oh,
No,
wow.
it's like a
Right.
no, that landscaping van. I would die going 60 miles or 80 miles in that thing. I'll have to show you what that looks like. Holy smokes!
Where are you?
I actually filmed that, so I think you'd like it.
Well, I'll look at you miserable. I will watch that for days. Any opportunity. That's better than any escape room right there. So I guess the next question is, how close are you? Can I ask how close you are to what you need to get that van sorted?
It just. I mean,
are you halfway there? Are you?
Oh no, not even close to that.
What is it called? They're 60 grand type thing, aren't they? 50, 60 grand?
Correct. Well, and that dash gone bathroom, since when I put the bathroom in first, it was just mom and dad and I, and we put the bathroom in. Nobody really inspected it. But now, since the house burnt down, they had to be inspected for habitability.
Right.
So we had to go back in, change out the tub, so it's more of a reclined tub because I lay in it. I can't sit up. So
they hold you accountable for being handicapped accessible or disabled accessible, but not the Comfort Inn who locks you out of a fire.
USA. So that's so it costs 44 blah blah and some change, which is almost exactly what we got from the fundraiser from Charlie.
From Moist Critical. For those of you who don't know, he's talking about Moist Critical, just one of the largest YouTubers on the frickin' planet. Happens to be friends with Gimpy G.
12.5 million subs.
That's
a lot.
I don't watch much else, but I watch his commentary stuff. I find his commentary stuff very, very either amusing or insightful or and thoroughly rude.
I'm amazed.
Thoroughly rude.
At how, well, it's pretty rude.
Yeah.
But I'm really impressed at his politics. You would think somebody that got wealthy at a young age might say, screw everybody else. But
I would.
He calls it, he got a good spawning point.
Huh.
So that was very nice.
Terry K, thank you very much for your subscription. That's a new. Terry K is new to the. Is new to the party. I think.
Terry K, woo.
I know what it's like to be.
That was a bucket of bummer. Let's go on.
Bonnie needs coffee. Bonnie. No, that's not a bucket of bummer. No, I think it's again, it's that engineering thing, right? It's a problem to solve. We got to figure out how to solve the problem. Well, hopefully, you got to start streaming, buddy.
I do.
I think so. Oh, don't you? I mean, you don't, or do you not want to? Would you rather?
Oh, I do. My life is filled with the only way to get through life without being able to move. If people aren't doing what you want, you just have to zen that shit. Because I'm like, oh.
That sucks.
Otherwise, I'd go insane. I just go insane.
Well, you would say
I want to be angry, and I want to listen. I need to do this, but I just can't. There's too much else that needs to be done for me as well. So.
But is it a squeaky wheel gets the grease type thing? I mean, do you need to make that? Do people not understand? God, it drives me crazy. I'm so far away. I wish I could. I feel like I could just. I know I can set up a computer. Like I could do that. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Well,
there is a mountain of stuff. Like Trenton goes down there every day and is trying to get things set up, so that helps.
there's just too much stuff to wade through to get sorted. Because you've got a nice PC in there that should work, right? I mean, like.
Yes, I mean, I'm going to have one for sure.
Yeah.
That will definitely work with a warranty. So
you can sell your 3090.
Oh, I would be worried about that because they literally told me. Do you ever watch Gamers Nexus?
I have watched it a couple of times, but I haven't. Yeah.
He just did not a repair, but a refurbish on a computer that was in a house fire.
Right.
So if you look at that, you'll see probably what my computer looked like. So
I gotta get that footage too. I gotta see some of this stuff. I gotta it's true. You've got photos and all sorts of stuff I haven't looked at. I don't think, or have I not? Or have I seen everything? Have I seen everything?
I don't know.
If I
not my trip back home.
I'm ridiculous, like in that I just like want to like freaking film everything all the time. Like I don't know why. It's like a collection thing. Oh, speaking of totally aside, I found this. So I started playing with Python the other day again. And
okay, cool.
Because
that's
I was trying
programming.
Yeah,
language, right?
Yeah, and I was trying to find because what I had this list of Twitter links of universities, and I wanted to pull all of them so that I could like I could follow all of these universities and I could start maybe talking to some of them about the thing. But what was the point of this? It's like a fundraising thing. I thought Python? for fundraising, I guess for fundraising. But it's this programming language is so I wrote a little program that you type in the name of the address and it will pull all of the links from that address that have whatever it is you're looking for. So like if I just want to find all of the Twitter links on on this website of top 200 Twitter universities or whatever it was, and it will pull all of those links for me.
That's cool.
It's really
how about
neat.
Are your people are the contestants primarily going to be Canadian citizens?
I would prefer it to be international. I think it should be from all over the world because I feel like I want it to be a place that everyone can
right. Relate to.
Yeah, I mean, and because that's also a part of it too. Like I want someone to go like, oh my God, there's someone in Japan building a freaking escape room the same way that we're building an escape room. Like I mean, like I love the idea of going like, look at like these are skills that unite us. Not even though it's a competition. That's the other reason why I don't want to go to television because television is going to try to heighten the drama, is going to try to heighten the peril and all that crap. And I think. I don't want that. I want people to get to know these people, these engineers, these artists, these writers, these actors, these construction folks, and I think getting to know these people and identifying with them is just a great way of going like that's what I want to do when I grow up. You know what I mean?
Right. I love that it hits not just STEM, it hits STEM plus. So that's awesome.
Sarah Owen says, do the competition in the British way where everyone helps everyone else. That's really the idea. That is kind of the idea. In fact, it might even be fun.
I thought of that as Japanese, but yeah.
At some point, it would be really fun to maybe even have, like, what if you have your 4 teams and then the first thing that happens is they get randomly swapped around. So they all have to work together even with people who they don't know. Like that kind of stuff. Like I just think that could be, yeah. I mean, I think it could be, yeah. I agree, Sarah. And there was a fantastic show. Was it called like Junkyard Wars or something? Or it became an American show that wasn't as good. But there was this great show where these teams would get together. And they'd have to you have to build an electric boat that could carry X to from X to Y without sinking or without whatever. And it was just all that kind of fun kind of stuff. Scrapyard Challenge. That was it. Thank you. Of course, James.
Obviously.
Scrapyard Challenge. Yeah, thank you. So a few. Should we do? There's a few little Techbandits things I'd love to just sort of discuss. One of them specifically, I think, relates to you. Did you look into that? The gel electrodes.
Oh, yeah. So they don't have to have necessarily hard wiring like metals or silicone to make a connection to the brain.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well, because that's a huge issue, right? When you start jabbing needles into the brain to stimulate things or to pick up signals, you are, I mean, because it's very invasive, obviously. Um, brains, like the rest of our bodies, tend to sort of go like, oh, let me fix that. And then you get scar tissue, you get inflammation, and all these things that break down the signal. One of the issues they had with implants is that they would lose fidelity over time, right? They wouldn't be as good at picking up these signals because the body was trying to, quote unquote, heal them. Whereas this new approach, where they're literally growing these gels into brain
Interfaces, right?
Yeah. So into brain is the only word I could come up with. But so all of a sudden, you've just removed all the inflammation. You've removed all of the, I mean, if it works, removed all the inflammation, removed all the scarring. They can stay in there. They can interact with the outside world in a way that they're hoping to get more and more complex. So, like, I was curious to see what would happen with Neuralink now, because Neuralink have these very fine electrodes that they embed in the brain, allowing for up to, I think it's like, just over 1,000, basically one byte of information or 1 kilobyte of information or whatever it is, 1,020 something or another different points of contact that they can put in a brain, and you can have multiple ones if you want. But of course you've got Elon Musk in your brains, which I would be a little nervous about right now. But also they're
call it a Neuralink-like.
Yes, Neuralink. Like that much better way of putting it. Neuralink-like, or just a brain-computer interface. There's a fantastic company called OpenBCI, which has got a new. They've just started including their brain-computer interface with a VR headset. So they can track eyes, they can track motion, and they can now track, brain activity to some extent as well. Again, that's a non-invasive one. They're not poking holes in you. They're just picking up electrical signals. So, but they're the brain computer interface that I have is from OpenBCI. I was a part of their Kickstarter when they first started and spent way too much money on it. But it's really cool, and the kids love it because they use it like a lie detector test. It's really cool.
Oh, neat. Did you ever see? This was like 20 years ago. A rich guy that got paralyzed from the neck down. He literally got a plug in the back of his skull. And he could sail his yacht because he worked in that. What did he do every year? America's Cup, is that what it's called?
Oh wow,
something like that.
Using an electrical. Wow.
Yeah, connection. Now he couldn't compete in America's Cup after the fact, but who's that? Anyways, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, he could run certain things, bring the sails up and down.
All electric. There was a Canadian who was doing that. There was a guy out of Vancouver. He was a mayor as well or something. He ran for mayor or something. It's much easier when you're young. You're right. The problem that I keep coming up against with this stuff is I can't get my freaking Windows to behave properly sometimes. What do you do when it doesn't work?
A system crash would suck.
And Lance and I, we tried to get a freaking iPad to work, and we were struggling with that. It's got to be so good. But I guess if this person has designed it for themselves, then they must obviously be able to use it to such an extent that they can actually get the boat going. But there was a guy out of Vancouver who used to do it. Switch to Ubuntu. That's right. Get some Linux in there. I'd love to do more Linux stuff.
Oh, Linux, yay.
The problem with Linux for me is just that it's just not, as supported as it is, it's not supported enough for everything yet.
Right.
No Horrid 7. I'm not going to hit Alt F4 if your Windows doesn't work. Isn't that a Baz trick? Didn't Baz shut me down during a stream once because of that? Weasel.
I think so.
Well,
I think he got you, yeah.
He's too funny. We got Bag of Chips staying with us right now.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Bag of Chips is hanging out here. It's actually really nice. It's like having two sons. It's kind of fun. Yeah. Because you pit them against each other and then you bet on it. Anyways.
Oh, I see.
like fighting dogs.
You make 3 dishes for dinner and you say, Oops,
Yeah.
there's 4 of us.
I guess
Which
he'll.
one doesn't eat?
Yeah. First one of the cutlery wins. Horrid Seven thinks I should shave my head. So
Dadgummit, who
I'm
is
sensing.
it?
I'm sensing a theme. Okay. Hang on here. Where's my little list of things? I just thought I thought you would really enjoy that gel thing because it just sounds
Yeah, no, it's cool.
really neat.
I was always worried about the interface, and then
Yeah.
if you look at how plugins have gone, like $13.99 Firewire, right, or $13.94. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was, but I mean that never even made it. So if that happened, you'd have to get your brain thing changed out. That would suck.
And they're talking about they're talking about people who've regained sight thanks to technology, having to go back and return the implants because they're not designed to last.
13.94.
They're their trial is over, so they can't see again. That just seems so freaking wrong to me. You know what I mean? All right, let me see if I can find this.
Quietus got it. IEEE 13.94. That was Firewire.
Is that Firewire? Firewire was
Yeah,
great while it lasted.
Yeah.
Where is my? For God's sake, people! Why can I never find an email when I want to?
Son of a. What prompts are you using to get that wonderful art, like that? Your brain in a jar. That was fantastic.
What did I do for that? I can tell you. I've got it on Discord.
Oh no.
What's that?
James Gurney said, if you want to get depressed, look up how long most transplants last.
Oy.
Which I imagine that would be.
Yeah, because we all want to get depressed, James. That's what we want. All right, let me see. Midjourney. So what was the one you liked? You liked the one of the little brain. Oh, yeah, the little brain. I had to iterate that a bit because originally I wanted a brain in a plant pot, and I thought the raccoon should be watering the brain. I thought that'd be kind of funny.
Okay.
But AI could not get its little brain around that. It kept putting weird cactuses and shoots coming out of the because I put in plant pot.
Okay.
So what I did was I changed it to glass jar, and of course that is a much more cliche brain in a glass jar. So that it could do. But I wrote so it was a cute brain in a glass jar in the style of Pixar Aardman stop motion animation. That's what I put in.
Ooh, okay.
And then I've added.
You're doing some great stuff.
It's really fun. I mean,
hi James.
What's up?
He's probably got to stop some kind of infection.
James has got to save the world. So James R. Gurney, doctor, professor, thank you so much, James. We'll talk soon, I hope. Much to discuss with James. Much to discuss.
He's a lot like Buckaroo Banzai if you think about it.
He is Buckaroo Banzai. James has rapidly become one of my favorite people on the planet. Rapidly.
Yeah.
But I could turn easily, James, so don't take it to heart. Here's another thing that I've noticed in Midjourney that I have activated a feature in Midjourney that works incredibly well, and it is I don't know where it is. There is I wonder if it's going to show me, or if it disappears in the mix. It allows you to edit. So if you select an image that you like and say, I want you to do alternate versions of that image, it will ask you to reprompt it. So you can add or subtract things from the prompt to help move it in the direction you want.
It'd be neat if you could circle, like with a pen or something with your finger, what you like. And
there is some
that alone.
There is one that does that, but I don't like its art as much. I am thoroughly enamored with the Midjourney art. Is just
it's awesome.
It's actually this is gonna sound like mumbo jumbo, but it's actually made me reconsider what creativity is. Like, I wonder if we haven't mistaken our definition of creativity. I'm not sure that we're right about what creativity is, because I think we think of it as a uniquely magical kind of human ability, and I'm wondering if it's not just data, right?
I feel like it's your brain trying to make sense of something nonsensical, or like a dream. It's your brain kicks something out there, and then it goes, oh, well, how do I deal with that image? And then it
Hmm.
starts painting in around it, and that's creativity, is filling all these gaps with something you consciously think of
But then that's exactly,
or subconsciously.
but
Yeah,
that's exactly
that's what
what the AI is
Mid-Journey's
doing.
doing.
Yeah. And that's why I
And
wonder if
I
I,
can see
Hmm.
your personality in these things. I mean, it screams David Hewlett.
Hmm.
You know,
It's
funny
true.
and goofy and
Rodents.
nerdy.
dirty looking rodents.
No, nerdy. I didn't say dirty.
No, but that, no, I iterated on that one.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, I think, I feel weird. I mean, I feel weird saying I created that because AI did all the work, but it's fascinating to me. The prompt engineering, as VibePup would probably call it, and that VibePup is very good at as well, is where I think things really come together. I now started paying for ChatGPT, so I'm paying the $20 a month for ChatGPT now, and I used it with this Python programming, and and it was really intriguing because you would get it to write a program and it wouldn't work. And I'd be like, hey, I'm getting these errors. What's the problem? And they'd say, well, obviously the problem's this. And I was like, well, you wrote it. So I find out having like arguments with AI. But what was great was you watch this thing debugging your program with you. Like you're bouncing ideas off an AI.
Cool.
So, yeah. So you sort of go like, okay, I'm getting this response. And it says, oh, well, have you checked this? And I said, no, I've checked that. Could it be something to do with this? And they say, oh, yes, what about this? And so it's almost like having someone there to bounce ideas off with the programming. The rubber ducky.
Did you hear it costs like a dime for every query you pose to it, like in processing power?
I'm not surprised. And that's a fraction of what was required to actually collate all of this information originally.
Oh, yeah.
Like originally, they were pre the NVIDIA, whatever they're called, chips, the new chips. They had a bunch of these things because you can have as many CPUs on this as you want. It's basically the GPU doing all this stuff. But it's this stuff is absolutely, it's mind blowing. There's some really wonderful stuff. I mean, maybe next week we'll touch on some of these ones because I've been listening to a bunch of podcasts about it. But there's one that they're talking about. There was a fascinating discussion about how AI could be used in medicine, and even just for boring parts of medicine, like even just for like patient forms, that kind of stuff. How there's this process of if we can get something 10 times better than it is now, that is a seismic change in the industry. Although a big part of the medical industry is also we need to start rewarding people for not getting sick rather than rewarding companies for fixing people when they're sick. Like you want companies to be stopping people from
that.
Yeah, they don't. No, and that's it. So, yeah, I mean, yes, you're right. We have to basically change the entire world for it to happen. But anyways, there's possibilities here. The other one is law. So this donotpay.com or whatever it's called, they've been really smart about it. They've done things like, whenever you have a contest, you have to have, even if it's a paid contest or a bag of chips contest, you could just write a letter. They have to let you just write a letter and submit yourself to the contest, right? So this guy's come up with a system, like a little, like check the boxes you want, and it will automatically submit you to all of these contests.
That's fantastic.
Isn't that brilliant? Like that's
even
just,
like a wills and all kinds of legal stuff that you don't want to mess with.
Parking tickets. It'll automatically work on parking tickets. The other one that they do is airline refunds. So if you're late, if your plane's late, you just go onto their website and sign up, and they can get you the $50 or your Wi-Fi doesn't work on the plane. They can get you the $50 because otherwise you're on the phone. Otherwise you're on the phone for God knows how long. They've even got a chatbot that talks to chatbots, right? So, like, for example, they're trying to get people, like if Comcast goes down or one of these network providers goes down, you have to get in touch with support, and then you have to try to get your refund for the time that you were down and all this kind of stuff. Well, they've literally written a chatbot that talks to the chatbot that Comcast has and forces it to put you through to the form that you then fill in to send to get your refund. And they've automated all of that using AI, which I thought was brilliant,
Yeah. You know, when I went to Vegas and got my arm broken, great story, by the way. I
you
actually
told
had
us that
insurance.
story.
No, I can't. Did I tell you the
You
entire
told.
story?
I think you told us. You told us the. I think you told us the the PG version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When in fact it's not a PG story. So
Right.
So it's basically you change the whole thing.
Right.
But I did go there for business. So I was looking at a Euro shop in the Caesar's Palace. But yeah. Anyways,
I don't
so
know. I have no idea. I don't know where you're going with this, but it makes me nervous.
I can't go anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But okay. Yeah. Where I was at was I actually bought vacation insurance, and it just was so much of a pain in the arse.
Yeah.
I abandoned it. Like even trying to stake a claim.
Well, and
So
the medical ones, yeah, they do medical forms as well. Same thing, where they took. I love this. This is another great idea about approach to that exact thing. Every hospital has to, by law, post the cost of all of their procedures, right? So what they do is they bury it in a giant freaking PDF on a website somewhere, and they use cryptic codes for each one of the procedures, right? So you have to go look up the procedure code, find the right procedure code at your hospital, and then good luck trying to compare that to another hospital's price because, of course, they have different cryptic codes. So he wrote a program that went in and took all of those codes and standardized them into one giant PDF that has...
Oh, that is awesome.
And I'll tell you, ChatGPT is amazing at that kind of stuff. Like, so...
Okay.
Like I said to GPT...
They tried to hide everything under a mountain of paperwork.
Yes.
And now you're wanting to fight that mountain with AI.
With technology, exactly.
Love it.
Now, but what he's saying and what the host of this podcast, which I've been enjoying, and I will have to look up the name because I don't remember, there's too many damn podcasts, was that they were fighting this stuff, is that they will be fighting this stuff against AI now. So AI will be battling AI just like what's happening in the Ukraine, right? Not in the Ukraine, in Ukraine right now. With the drones. The drones are basically, we're going to have autonomous vehicles fighting autonomous vehicles, and the warmongers and the moneymakers will be making money, learning how to improve their ways of killing each other without actually having people involved. In the same way that these bots will be fighting each other over medical bills and things, which is it's fascinating.
That's what I was thinking. Like, because the companies, especially insurance, they're fighting every step of the way for every dime they can to deny you, and then your bot is fighting for every dime that they are actually, in fact, obligated to provide. So, it will definitely be and those are wars too that happen.
Yeah.
That will happen 24 hours a day.
Well, there's another one. Another great one is what do they call it? Robo calls. So they have a system where, like, obviously they put out bogus phone numbers and stuff, right? So you don't get a real phone number when they call you. But what they've got is they've come up with a system. They've come up with a credit card. So they want to sell you something. You buy it. You go, okay, yeah, sure. Here's the credit card number. You give them the credit card number. As soon as they have that credit card number, they can trace bank accounts, they can trace companies, and they will then charge them the $150 that is the fine for calling someone who's on the do not disturb list or the do not call list. Isn't that neat?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And the big companies were stopping his bots from going through and looking for all of the little legalities that would get someone like a refund from an airline or something. So what does he do? He gets the app that everyone downloads to use his services to do the research. So he can be from different IP addresses every single time. Isn't that neat?
Do you think that is, dude, that's more awesome than, I mean, because we can actually like overcome this Byzantine labyrinth that they put us in, so that we can't get our rights.
As long as someone doesn't come along and say, "Oh, AI is bad and we've got to ban it all," or like, I mean, this is what I'm concerned about: is that there's going to be people. I'm very, very worried that people are like are like demonizing this stuff. Where I'm not saying that it's not
Right.
without problems, but I'm worried that politics is going to get in here, and the next thing you know is they're going to be like, well, you can't have bots can't be used on websites. It's like what? What? Why not? You know what I mean? Well, because they're
I've
being used
got
to
a
up the
feeling
price of things.
you and I are going to be on, like, talking before Congress
Mm.
about the thing that we can't talk about, and the how wonderful
Oh yeah.
certain
Oh,
technologies
I
that
didn't
we
even
can't
think
talk
of
about.
that. That's true.
Yeah,
We would be
so
good
we can
spokesmen for
be
that. Well,
champions.
you would be.
Yes. Yeah.
They'd be like, "Why is that
Well,
Stargate guy there?"
and then you give me a drink. You put a straw in my drink.
Well, that's right. What am I saying? You would be embedded in my chest in a special T-shirt that
Exactly.
has an iPad in it. I'm going to put the link in the
Exactly.
chat of the Do Not Pay folks. I'm not endorsing these people or anything. I don't know. This guy could be a complete charlatan for all I know. But I was fascinated by he's a nerd who thinks he's going to improve the world, and I can't help being somewhat caught up in that myself. Again, I don't know
Do
how
you think?
know.
Did you see where the lawyer or somebody wanted to use AI to defend them against a traffic ticket?
That was Do Not Pay. That was them.
What was it?
It was Do Not Pay. It's the
Okay,
guys who I
but
just put the link in. So they wanted to have bone
they were
induction.
denied.
Yeah,
Right.
because they said when the laws were made, they would never have been able to foresee the idea of a machine serving as a lawyer, so it can't be allowed. And
Okay.
he was going to say, wait a second.
Supposedly,
Yeah,
yeah.
it says that no one who hasn't
Grounds
been
of
trained.
legality
Hmm.
is that it's this immutable logic that
Hmm.
it's like, that's what they pretend like it is. If you participated, it's just whoever can BS the best. But I really would like to see AI doing a lot of that.
Well, then definitely check these folks out because they're doing some really neat stuff. And I think that again, it's a bit tech bro. Like it has a bit of a feel like we're gonna change the world, man. Be a part. Like I mean, it's like
Yeah.
and there's some cheesy stuff that he's doing, but I think that some of that cheese is useful. Like I didn't know this, but apparently they don't get rid of laws; they just stop being used, right? So there's just laws.
Right.
They don't really delete laws; they just get overridden by another law somewhere. So there's all these laws going back to like 18 somewhere where it's like illegal to put ice cream in your back pocket. That kind of like weird, stupid things that you go like, what? So I think, I mean, the legal profession, it's incredibly.
Hi, Sarah Owen.
Oh, are you off? Is Sarah Owens off?
It's
Supper's ready.
supper's
Well, no, do not. I never expect anyone to wait on food for me. I would never wait on food for any of you. But
It's true.
yeah, I mean, we could literally do a whole Techbandits just on the legal side of this stuff because I think it's fascinating. But I think the legal profession is in trouble because they charge ridiculous sums of money because they have made this as complicated as they can so they can charge ridiculous amounts of money to do the law.
Right.
And I think as long as it doesn't involve a personal thing, as long as it's not emotionally driven, which I think in some cases, like one of the things that this article was saying was that asylum seekers, they need to get up there and tell people who they are and what they've been through and
Their story.
and then AI is not going to be as good at doing that. But
however, getting them ready to testify or getting them to that point.
Yep.
Let's face it, there's so many laws and so much complexity to it. No person can know that. The lay person.
Oh,
there's just no way.
That reminds me of another thing that they're doing, which I think is genius. There's a plugin for your browser that when it says, "Do you agree to the terms and conditions?" it breaks it down for you. It says these are the terms these are the things, or you would be agreeing to adding this to your terms and agreements, or that kind of stuff. Again, as you say,
think of how many firstborns
we get piled.
Will not get.
Yeah, exactly. We get piled on with the BS. Although I was surprised at how the Google NDA was pretty straightforward. I thought it was pretty good actually.
Yeah, it was short.
Are we allowed to talk about the NDA? Is that part of the NDA?
I think we're okay with that. We just can't talk about it. Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that we're so flexing right now. Just so everyone knows, we're like totally flexing.
Boom. That's just because we're working with a giant company.
Yeah, it's just us.
Made 200 $80 billion.
Don't mind
last year.
us. All of a sudden, I like Google a whole lot more. Wouldn't it be great to actually get paid by Google though?
Yeah.
Like having a
That
job
was,
at having a job at
we
Google
gotta
would be
talk
something you
tomorrow.
could flex about that, couldn't you? I mean, that'd be
Yeah. We should talk tomorrow because there's a
Uh,
couple things I'm curious about.
All right, let me hit a couple more things on my
Okay.
email of awesome awesomeness. And then
Is your battery going, Dave?
is my battery going?
Yeah, I'm asking. Your
I'm-
internal battery.
My internal battery. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Excitement will keep
Okay,
me
good,
going.
good.
Wow. Auto mod. I've never seen the auto mod before. Okay, let me just see what I've got here. Campaigns. I'm going to go to my actual. These are the ones that I've sent out. So there we go. Okay, so the Black Widow spiders I've discussed. I have again, absolutely wonderful. I brought the robotic one as well. I brought my robot spider as well, which was kind of fun. So some of the kids,
cool.
some of the kids maybe were not as squishy, interested in the squishy stuff as the hardware stuff. So they a bunch of kids were kind of enjoying trying to figure out how to get the robot spider to move around, which is kind of fun. Oh yes, I forgot about the slithering science. This sidewinder. The sidewinder snake.
I've seen this.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Very so
cool.
the basic thing was like they're looking. Go.
Mars. It'll travel across Mars fantastically.
Yeah.
Way better than wheels.
They've discovered that by studying sidewinder snakes, they've realized that by elongating its body and sort of undulating across the sand, it's able to traverse, basically almost viscous sand. Like it's sand that is almost so fluid that it's fluid, but it's able to sort of skim across the top of it by using this motion. And of course, when you get to Mars, there's some pretty freaking giant craters that are like straight down and then a sea of sand at the bottom. So what's good for going straight down and at the bottom, this snake will literally grab its own tail, roll down the hill, and then slither around on the sand, which I thought was just...
That's so cool.
Isn't that brilliant? And soon people designing that will have done escape rooms.
Go ahead.
You wait. Yeah.
Have you ever watched how polar bears traverse like ice caps?
Oh.
Like they'll go along and then they'll spread their bodies out.
Yeah.
Just push with their back legs. It's kind of cool.
But like, is that built into their brains? I mean, do they pop out of the womb and they're like, you know what I got to do? I got to flatten myself before I go. Is it? Or do they get taught that?
I don't know. I feel like it's got to at least be somewhat taught because you don't see the babies doing it. You see the mom really flattening out.
Is it instinctive, maybe? I mean, I guess in a way it's instinctive, isn't it? Now I think about it. If I'm on something that's insecure, I tend to sort of, like, I almost instinctively spread out just thinking about it. You don't move, so that's probably, your instincts may not be the same.
That's why you get all the weird looks on the tunnel. Or the subway.
On the subway, yeah. As I splay out like Spider-Man. Exactly. I'm lying on the floor of the streetcar as it goes by. I just have to say,
I'm increasing my surface area.
Rion Pyros has just subbed Ancriitis. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks.
Very good of
That's so great.
So Google doesn't look good these days. Layoff happy. It was a problem great 10 years ago, but not so much now. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. I think you also want to look at who Google has hired. Because the media, oh God, I sound like freaking Donald Trump, don't I? But the media loves writing articles about how all these companies are laying off people. But have a look at how many people they hired during the pandemic and before the pandemic and stuff as well. So, these things go in cycles. And I'm not saying, look, I completely understand, we don't live in a world anymore where you get a job and you're like loyal to the company and the company looks after you. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. Right. I mean, employers,
it's a mistake, I think. Go ahead.
Employers and employees go where the deal is best for them. If there's someone at Google who gets a better deal somewhere else, they're gone. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like, I don't mean to sound cold-hearted about it, and I can understand how sort of traumatic that would be for people, but at the same time, they're going to get other jobs. These are talented, educated people who worked at Google. You know what I mean? And also, I think a big part of this is AI. Honestly, I think
Sure.
what
I don't even mean it as a sad story. I just mean if I owned a company and I had these wicked smart people, I would want their loyalty, and I would gain that through. Oh, sorry, dude. Do you need a pizza? I'll get you a pizza.
Yeah,
Or whatever. I'll be real nice to them. Oh, you've been here 5 years. Here's a big giant watch.
well,
That kind of stuff.
and they've been struggling to get people and to keep people at these places, right? I mean, they've been struggling with exactly that. Like, how do you keep people interested? And for a while there, I felt like we were in an environment where the employee kind of had the upper hand, but I don't think it's the case anymore, right?
It's just now slipping down.
Yeah.
They said that Fed changing the interest rates was to cool down the labor market because we were down to like 3%. And that some dude somewhere said that's too high. You are too low. You need like 5% unemployment. I'm like, what the hell? That's not science. You're calling yourself that, but that's just that economics crap.
Well, and I feel like, I in a way, I feel like if I like with the Python stuff, if I can write a program and have AI to bounce this stuff off, that's at least one employee gone, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the other thing that's going to happen is you're going to see like a sudden jump in cool, innovative new companies that are being started by the people who got fired from Google and Facebook and all those places. You wait. That's my if I was to guess, my crystal ball, which of course have no talent at all, but my hunch is that we're going to see a bunch of these people go like, screw you, Google, fine, you don't want me anymore? Well, I'm going to go and start my own company, and they're going to probably do very well by it. So, Aquita says you do need about 5% unemployment according to several economists. Lower than that, and people start job hopping and negotiating higher wages, leading to a possible runaway wage inflation. I'm guessing. Yeah.
But that's kind of they always talk the opposite direction. It always seems to be slanted towards the company, is what I'm saying. Most economists are slanted towards the company. They want all that leverage to be on their side. And I say in a capitalist economy, if you want no rules, fine. No rules. But you can't make rules that actually shut out the workforce, but they do.
I mean, as long as look, the problem is I think, again, I keep coming back to this. I think there's money in politics, and then the money in politics is coming from these big companies. So it's always politics is always going to be in the favor of whoever pays the most, right? I mean, I think that's just unfortunate, and I think that really needs to change. But that said, I feel like
True.
People are smart.
Anquiitis.
People are smart. The number of times I hear about people who are like, oh my God, I got laid off and I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. So I started this little business, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, I am whatever. You know what I mean? I think that's the backbone of, that's like the backbone of America, really, these little businesses that are I think, are now going to have access to tech people that they wouldn't have had access to before because, frankly, they couldn't afford them because the big companies were paying for them all.
Right. Because the upfront for that is, see, that's what I like, too. There's just too much upfront capital cost and, like you said, tech cost for a guy to, start from zero and go up now. But with this, you actually have some leverage to pull yourself up.
I mean, Mr. Clean Tracy is talking about unions, and I'm sort of torn on that because I think there is a place for workers to combine their collective power and collective bargaining and that kind of stuff. I definitely like that. I just worry about the political aspect of unions, and I also worry about, frankly, just the money in unions. Right? I mean, we've got an actors quote unquote union, and I really feel like they're just worried more about getting their dues than they are about actually representing us. I mean, that's just from my experience.
You got to admit, the Actors Guild is pretty dang sweet as far as making sure they get you guys a piece of the
Absolutely.
residuals and things
Absolutely.
like that.
But acting's a weird one that way too, because I feel like as soon as you've got any kind of a name, you don't technically need a union anymore because
Right? Because
your name is what people
right.
are hiring you for anyways.
Dude, it's all about leverage.
Yeah.
Either a bunch of people could get together to have leverage, or one, say, Jason Momoa, can provide all the leverage he needs to get the compensation he desires.
Yeah. I don't want to make any blanket statements about any of it because I just think there's I don't have this kind of like I'm not like I'm not entirely rah unions. I'm not entirely rah no unions, and I definitely probably lean more left than right nowadays. I used to think of myself as a bleeding heart right, but I think I've definitely moved more left in a way. But at the same time, I also feel like I kind of want everything to change. Like there's a part of it that's almost, I don't want to say libertarian, what would it be, almost an anarchist to some extent. And then I feel like we need to reset some stuff. I feel like we need to reset some stuff. Like I feel like some things are really messed up right now, and I feel like we could be looking after each other better. Anyways,
here's a question: how long does it take for people to get used to weird norms? Let me think about this. Let's say
not
a giant 3-mile long penis fell across Toronto.
Does it have to be that? Could it be something else?
It's important. Okay. No, it's just giant.
Is it important to the story?
Yes.
All right.
Bisects all of Toronto.
Okay. All right.
Now, how long does it go from, holy cow, that's God's wanker, or, oh, the aliens are talking to us, to, oh, man, the wanker's in the way. We're going to have to build a subway under it. And so I don't think long. Today.
I don't think very long.
I don't think.
Because, I mean, look how quickly we got used to pandemics. Look how quickly we got used to the internet, for God's sake. Look how quickly we've adopted AI. Like, what is the rate of pickup on that? It's like faster than Instagram. Like, I mean, and that is a technology that literally no one knew a thing about before that, right? They heard like a couple of stories about it winning chess or something, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like doing people's marketing for them.
How long until a conservative fights to keep the wanker right where it is and doesn't want to chop it up and get rid of it? The reason I use wanker, lesbian, Jedi is because it's something disgusting.
It's because he's a dick.
You shouldn't be able to get used to, and yet humanity,
somehow gets used to it. But look at the normalcy of like war in Ukraine. Look how quickly that country has. I mean, again, I don't think I don't want to belittle what they're going through in any way, but the reality is that there is a normalcy that's built up around what's happening there. They're like, oh no, another air raid siren. My dad talks about this in the Second World War, where the air raid sirens would go off and they'd all go into their bunkers. I mean, you know what I mean? Like kids, that's what happened. I mean, as kids, they were sent to Ireland because it was safer, or whatever, or their parents were, like that kind of stuff. I mean, I think you do get normalized this stuff. Look how quickly for myself, how quickly going and getting a COVID test before I went into set every day became the absolute norm, to the point where when they didn't do it, I was like, are we not?
Should we be doing this?
Should we? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you're not in tomorrow. I was like, you don't care about me? Because they don't. First time chat. Wow. Le vrai Rodney. Talisman 25. C'est vrai. C'est vrai. C'est
Je t'aime.
Je t'aime. Un grand crayon orange. Rôti de bœuf. No, bonjour. Bonjour, Talisman. Would it be?
Bonjour.
20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25. Is that right? 20, 25, 25?
Yeah. I don't know what is 6.
I got smiley, googly heart eyes from Talisman 25. Okay, the kids got used to wearing masks at school during COVID really quick. I taught in elementary, and then the kids were great. It was the adults who had the problem. Yeah, because the adults are obviously not as used to it as well. I just put a mask on now. I wear a mask, but if I hop in an Uber or I go on the subway, I just wear a mask. I just think it's easier. In the same way that I just go and get jabs when whenever, every few months or whatever, and if someone says there's something I should go and get jabbed with, I go get jabbed because I figure they probably know more than I do about this stuff. What did you make of on Saturday Night Live? They had what's his face? Oh God, what is the actor's name? Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson was on Saturday Night Live, and apparently in his monologue he talked about this script that he got given about a world where pharmaceutical companies owned everything, and then they announced a pandemic, and they refused to let anyone out of the house unless they got vaccinated with their. He basically said that the
direct analogy to the COVID.
Yeah, and I was like, I was a little disappointed because I thought, it just feels a bit like, look, it might be true. Who knows? I'm not, but at the same time, I also, what do we say? I'm skeptical, but open to learning other truths. Look, we laughed at people when they said, like, oh my God, it was the Chinese. They made this virus. And potentially, I don't know. I'd be curious to know what comes of that.
I never laughed at it. I kind of thought it's possible, but I don't know. That's the whole deal. They're able to take real spurious logic and then say they're 100% sure. Whereas I'm not capable of doing it. I don't know.
Well, this is what
I find out, so I'm okay.
Well, this is what's fascinating about talking to scientists, is that scientists don't talk in absolutes. When you talk to James R. Gurney about stuff, Dr. Professor James R. Gurney, or any scientist for that matter, they don't say this is the way it is. They talk about what the, what have they witnessed? What is the
it's likely. Yeah.
What is the proof that we have towards these things? Because and this is the strength of these idiots with these stupid conspiracy theories, is that you can't disprove, you can't entirely disprove something that's ridiculous. Oh, really? There's no spaghetti monster in the sky? Prove it. Well, we haven't seen it. It seems unlikely. Right. It breaks every law of physics. It's like, but you haven't seen it. And I mean, this is how Christianity and other religions, of course, are based on this idea of like, well, you just have to have faith. In other words, you just have to ignore all of your senses and everything. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Ignore reason. But okay, think about Woody's position on this. We know there was a Black Plague. We know there was, even though it started in Kansas, a Spanish flu. What, in the 1918?
I love the way we name it after who we want to blame for it.
Yeah, who we want to scrap with, right? Even if it escaped from Wuhan, it doesn't make it a Chinese attack. It could happen.
Well,
but anyway,
and the danger of these things is that they jump species, right? I mean, like the bird flu now has jumped to other species, including bats, which is a mammal, and which is, that's not great, right? Was it a bat? Was it a bat? Actually, you know what? I will say this again. I am not a scientist. I only play them on television. Please don't take any of this stuff as I am
something with
pontificating. I'm not.
A pangolin. Yeah, it's
pangolin.
Like
was it?
Yeah, like an armored kind of, almost, I would say, anteater or something like that.
Yeah, the Nick is saying that this could happen in labs in the U.S. because we're not as security conscious as we should be either on this stuff. It's not like all countries aren't playing. They can pretend that they're not, but I guarantee you they are. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I would want to work with China. I wouldn't want to sever ties with them because you sever ties, then you can't keep an eye on their particular
keep your enemies
methods
close.
And methodology.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to make sure they're doing things on the up and up. They're not cutting corners.
I am torn on China because I think there is a kind of a genius to the way that they are able to treat they're able to treat people like data, and at the same time it absolutely revolts me, right? I mean, there's this kind of this weird dichotomy because I feel like, in a way there's a part of me that thinks we should be treating ourselves as all numbers in a way, like that we are all part of one giant globe, and anything we do in one part is going to affect another. And I truly believe that I don't understand why we sort of carve this planet up into sort of bleeding chunks. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's weird. They're all arbitrary lines all over the place.
And historical.
Yep.
But at the same time, someone comes and wants to take my house, I'm, well, screw you. I bought this house. Like,
My house.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like, that's,
right.
I'm aware of the, what is it called? I've got both sides in my head on this thing. There's a great word for it, but I'm too tired to think of it.
Personal property. That's a good thing. Personal property.
Yeah, I don't.
Safety from physical attack. I like that. So, we keep thinking we can solve a problem with an extreme of one thing. Like if I asked you to paint a picture of a rainbow and said, but only use red, that would be a stupid looking rainbow. You have to use a lot of colors to depict it properly. And I have a feeling as society, you're not going to be able to be laissez-faire capitalism, and you can't be everybody's just one unit. You're going to have to, fill in different places. You've got to govern, you got to let technology happen. Just all kinds of stuff.
You got to, and at the same time, it's like, when do you step in, when do you not? It's a bit like gardening. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you got to know where to.
No, that's what we talked about that.
And I think there's something to be said for that. But of course, when you start talking about pruning, that's when the gardening becomes rather horrific. I mean, like that's what you're dealing with.
I'm not going to prune people.
But what do you do when that is a problem? What do you do when you can't feed people and you have to choose? Like, I just feel like there's so many. Well, we've already done that, haven't we? The reality is we spend more money on diets than the money we spend on diets in America could feed the freaking hungry of the world. Like, that's the most revolting fucking thing. Excuse my language.
No, you're right. There was a politician in Alaska just this week said it's good when children die from neglect and abuse because that's a net savings for the government.
Look, I worry about that here. We've got this. I feel like I'm being pitched on the wonderful progressive approach that our government has towards euthanasia now. I believe people should have a right to die the way they want to die. I'm completely up for that. I think that's absolutely. I watched my dog. I put my dog down because we had to, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I would exchange the mandarin orange that the dog got for chocolate for me, perhaps. But the fact is that I don't understand why we're not as kind and caring to our elderly as we are to the dog. But I don't want to be in that situation myself. I don't think anyone does. But at the same time, I worry that if we open this thing up too much, the same system that's failed these people, that's failed their mental health, that's failed to provide them with enough money to live and to eat, and healthcare and all these kind of things. If they get forced into wanting to kill themselves because of the system, and then the system steps in and goes like, I can fix all of your problems by killing you, I worry.
By killing you, yeah.
I just worry that's, and again, that's what I'm torn on right now. And I mean, I'm biased on this because I've got little sisters who struggle with mental health issues all their life. And I worry that if she'd had that as an option, they're talking about making that available to people with depression now. And I'm like, but the whole point is if you've got a clinical depression, I worry that maybe you're not the best person to ask about whether you should live or not. You know what I mean? I don't know. And again, I'm torn because I go, yes, of course, I want to have the right to make those decisions. But I also...
and that's what I'm talking about as far as you don't have to be an extreme on either side. You can allow it, but then it comes with responsibility. You have to go to a psychologist. It takes a couple of years to find out if you're really in a headspace to make that decision. If you can get off of a crime because you're not mentally stable enough to have made a decision, say to murder, well, then the same thing is true of your own murder or suicide, whatever. I don't know.
It's a tough one. I mean, it's got to
It
be.
is really.
How freaking weird is it for you to hear people going like, "Oh my God, if I can't," we've talked about this. "Oh my God, if I lose the ability to look after myself, that's it. Just put me down." You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, I mean, every dinner I've ever been to, there's, well, if I can't wipe my own butt, just let me die. I'm like, wipe your own butt. That's a dream. A dream. 4
Yeah,
hours.
luxury. I used to wake up 6 hours before I went to bed and walk 100 miles. Yeah, yes. I mean, this is it.
So
The problem
yeah,
with the world, I remember my father saying this, is that there is no black and white. There is no right and wrong. It's all these different shades of gray. And trying to be,
thank you, Captain Catherine.
and you just have to sort of like, you have to sort of figure out what works for you and what, I mean, and I look, I wouldn't want to be in politics because I wouldn't want to be having to make these decisions. But at the same time, I feel like I'm worried about a system that isn't supporting people saying, "Hey, here's an option." You know what I mean? But anyways, that's
Right.
it.
Well, the problem is, it seems like it fits into that cost benefit analysis,
mm,
and not everything can be ran like a business.
mm.
Sorry, living life is not a business.
No, it's not. But unfortunately, the way that our world has been set up is everything is a business now, isn't it? I mean, even Canada
I'm
with its
trying to
healthcare
do that,
system
yeah.
it's just an HMO. I mean,
Right.
I wonder, just there was one thing about here. So the Rion Pyrus was saying, as a Jehovah's Witness, I just do what the governmental authorities say to do as long as it doesn't conflict with Bible teachings. So most of us in brackets just wore a mask and
Oh, this was in chat.
and got jabbed.
Interesting.
We also place a high value on life, so we did whatever was safest. So you can't lump all Christians together on how they behave.
As a Jehovah's Witness, do you still believe that you can't get a blood transfusion because of that would be nigh on cannibalism, or do you think they're still here?
Well, I don't know. I mean, my struggle is with the conflicting with the Bible teachings. That's where I bump up against, because I go like, I just don't understand what what do you do? I mean, look, I've been taught to be respectful of people's beliefs and religions and the rest of it, but I struggle with the idea that teachings in a book of dubious origin
Yep.
Should be applied to today's modern science is my thing. I don't know much about Jehovah's Witnesses, to be honest. And I'm not.
It's different. Michael
Yes.
Jackson was a Jehovah's Witness.
We don't allow for blood transfusions, but it's not cannibalism.
Well, partaking of the blood of another human, whatever they mean by that.
I don't. Well, sorry, the Rion. I'm afraid I don't understand that myself. I don't know why I wouldn't. I would use whatever medical means were available. Like if my son was in danger, or myself for that matter, I would do whatever, or my parents, whatever. I mean, I would do whatever medical medical magic was available. So I guess I'm not a good person to talk to about that stuff. I don't understand beliefs getting in the way of the science of medicine.
Right.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that myself.
The reason I know this is because I had a friend before I went into the surgeries that and I had more blood pumped into me than you can imagine, than a Freddy Krueger movie. And he was like real worried about me because I'm going to go to hell because of this. And I was like, I mean, it's literally comes from
Thank you,
the
Gompling.
Old Testament. So yeah, so we have 5,000 years ago. They did not have the capacity to even imagine heart transplants and things like that.
Or even the end of
but it's
poverty.
not technical.
Even the end of poverty. I mean, I don't know if Jehovah's Witnesses go into the Jesus stuff, but like Jesus talks about the fact that there will always be the poor, as if it was like some kind of something you were born with, right?
Well, you just got a bunch more gifts, dude.
Holy moly, Gompling! Thank you very much, very much.
Blam.
It's very technical, and I can answer. Look, the Orion Pirates. I don't want to pick on anybody. I just think
making sure. Yeah.
I am. I don't know. I mean, I grew up Christian, right? I mean, that was my upbringing was Christian, and my experience with Christianity was very, very bad, very, very bad. I felt that the system was corrupt. I feel the system was. I think the closest to evil I ever got in my understanding of evil on this planet, was in the church and the church itself. It preyed on little boys like me, and I was lucky in that I had a relationship with my parents that allowed me to point that out to them at a time when it was very difficult to do that. And I have seen nothing in my. I mean, maybe I'm just looking to validate my belief. I think we all do that to some extent. We try to validate our own belief on these systems. But I have no faith. Not so much. I have no faith in Christianity or any religion from that, because I think it suffers from all of the both patriarchal and sexist and racist and ableist and all of the issues that we had, growing up as a species. It has all of that working against it in my mind. So.
Okay. If you look at that, see, I believe I've read more of the Bible than most Christians here in America, or read it more times for sure. But a lot of them haven't read it at all, and there's so many contradictions that you're actually not following a book. You're following a person who's interpreting what parts are important and what parts are not. Because I can find you a counter to just about everything.
I would love to believe. I would love to believe. I would think it would be the best thing in the. But could you imagine living your life with an absolute conviction that no matter what happened on this planet, you were going to go somewhere amazing after? I think that would be. I would love to believe that, but I think that's part of the appeal. And the Rion Pirates. First off, you did not knock us off track. I knocked us off track.
We're always off track.
We're always off track.
Always off track.
The whole point of this Tech Bandit stuff is to discuss
point
everything.
Exactly.
Is to discuss absolutely everything. And I am happy to do that. But my approach to it will always be, I can't help it. I am going to be biased against religion. I'm not biased against the people. I have nothing against the people who believe in any of this stuff. I have nothing against that. The concept of organized religion really, really worries me in the same way that many other things worry me. So I'm not. Everyone is welcome here. I think that's kind of the fun of all this. Is I don't want to live in a bubble. Yeah. I don't want people disagreeing with us. I want people to have other opinions. I think that's really, really important. So I absolutely welcome it.
And they're cool.
Yeah. But at the same time, I also feel like, in the same way that I think I'm willing to get beaten up for not knowing things or saying stupid things because I am not the fount of all knowledge or anything, I think that we just have to be aware that there will be people who will disagree. So please don't take any personal offense to this. You have done nothing to you've just given us something to talk about, and I'm absolutely thrilled to discuss it. Now that said, it's almost 2:30, so I've got we're almost 2.5 hours in, so I'm gonna have to wrap up soon. But anyways, yes, Gimpy G, jump in. What do you got?
Super quick idea.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can help me with your AI art skills, because I was just now thinking, if I was in charge of writing the Bible, like I could see where you started. You're like, holy crap, this existence sucks, especially way back when, right? So you say, how do we get people under control and take away some of their misery? We'll say there's a better life afterwards, and that all that's the only one that really matters. And then, so you set that decree out, and then you notice everybody jumping off of buildings and hanging themselves and drinking poison. You're like, oops. Back to the drawing board.
That's not going to work, right? That's not working so good. I mean, it's fascinating.
Something like that.
It's absolutely fascinating. I am. frankly amazed that, and I'm not just picking on Christianity here. I'm sorry, I don't buy any of this stuff.
Yeah, we're equal opportunity.
Any of these religions that go back to some kind of a book or word of God thing, or whether, I mean, everyone thinks they're God's people. Everyone thinks that this is God's, this is there for their, I'm an equal opportunity. I'm an atheist. Is that right? Atheist, is that the right term? I never get, atheist means I don't believe in a higher God or whatever, right? Does that mean?
I would almost go further for myself, but yeah. I feel like I know there isn't one.
Right.
But go ahead.
I believe that there is not a God. Yes, I would have to say, I'd have to say that. But that still doesn't stop me from fantasizing about the idea that how cool would it be if there really was one. Like, again, I'm openly, look, if some alien race shows up and goes like, hey guys, you were just this great experiment we're working on, and we've been like, messing with things the entire time. God, I wish I could talk about this movie, because there's a film I'm about to start on that has some really interesting kind of religious overtones to it. It's not a religious movie. It's a science fiction movie, but it plays, as science fiction is so good at, it plays with these ideas of like, who's in charge and why, and are we, what is free will, and, all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's weird. I respect everyone's, Heather on the Hill says, I totally get it. I totally respect everyone's right to believe or not to believe. Here's the thing, though. Like, I say that, and I find there's a certain hollowness that I feel when I say it. Because the truth is, if I don't believe in this stuff, it's very difficult to respect that someone else does. I don't mean to be a dick about it, but you know what I mean? Are you with me here, Lance? I mean, like...
No, but you respect them as a person. My problem is there are a lot of laws and governances being determined by this thing that I know not to be true. The anti-abortion and, so many things. This whole thing about trans people who only make up a very small fraction. It's all religious. It has nothing to do with anything but religion. Same thing when gays couldn't get married. Just religion. So to me, there's so much.
Women couldn't get ordained. I mean, there's all sorts of.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about Jehovah's Witnesses. Is that, I feel like that's a newer religion somehow. Am I wrong in that? Is that?
It's got to be at least over 50 years old, but it's.
Yeah, it's not religious. It's people using religion as an excuse. That's very good, Elizabeth, with a Z.
But it's their excuse, and the people who are enacting it believe that their excuse is 100% correct because they believe it, not because it's got any kind of backing.
Hello, Digital Sparky.
There you go. So about the same age as Mormonism and Seventh-day Adventists.
Right. So it is a newer religion to some extent.
Yeah.
It's just control. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is the funny thing. Like,
that's what I feel.
Like one of my many favorite people is Father Ballister.
Oh, Father. Yeah.
I mean, and that is one smart guy. Like, he's a really smart, sciencey guy. I mean, I guess that's kind of a Jesuit's thing, isn't it? I mean, he's a digital Jesuit. I mean, he works in Rome. I very, very much respect him. I do not understand his religion. I don't understand, but at the same time, I think he's a perfect person for Rome to be using, because he does make me go like, well, what is it? What is he seeing in it? Like, what does he get from this? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, so he's a good salesman, basically. He's the pretty girl who invites you into the Dianetics personality test in LA, as they used to do.
True. The churches do that too, though. My little sister started going to Sunday school, and Mom and Dad were like, "Why are you going?" Well, they give us these great toys every time.
Well, dude, they come into people while they're dying and say, "Do you want a priest in there?" I'm like, hey, talk about getting them when they're down.
I got scared to death by a priest. I was in intensive care on a Drake,
Mm.
and I'm like kind of dozing, open my eyes, and there's a priest over me. I'm like, what the hell?
And of course, you can't say anything because you've got a freaking tracheotomy going on.
Yep,
Oy,
it
oy,
was.
oy.
Yep, it was awful. My
Yeah.
dad took care of it, but my grandma was the one who brought him in.
Oh God. Yeah. Don't even start me on that. Yeah, Elizabeth Z says there are plenty of religious organizations fighting for civil rights. It's a cultural phenomenon that acts as some ethical Rorschach test, but then justifies and amplifies people's perspectives. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying that no good comes of them whatsoever. I think, though, that there's this this attitude like if you don't have religion, then what's to stop everyone from just killing and stealing everything?
Raping and murdering.
That's it.
Yep.
And I feel like I don't. Why does it feel good to be? Why does it feel good to be decent? I don't know. You know what I mean? That's what I worry about. That's why I joke about getting men out of the equation when it comes to politics and business and stuff, because I feel like we've been raised to try to put down all of those nurturing feelings. We have been rewarding sociopaths with billions and billions of dollars, and and articles about how brilliant they are and all this kind of stuff. And the reality is that it's not even so much that they're good at business, they're just bad humans. You know what I mean? If you lack empathy, you are going to take advantage of every possible, So I worry about that. And maybe that's just, maybe it's just sour grapes because I wish I was a billionaire. Who knows?
No.
The escape room, maybe we'll all be billionaires. Who knows? Look, I should wrap up because I am fading. And also, I've got Bag of Chips here. I want to find out what games they're playing.
Bag of Chips.
You know what I'm saying? Gimpy G, we're gonna chat tomorrow anyways, though, right?
Yes.
I'm also talking to the museum tomorrow. So maybe we'll talk after I've talked to the museum, because then I'll have news.
Okay, you just shoot me a message.
Yeah. Definitely do that. Vibe Pup, any closing thoughts? I don't think I've even touched on all of the things that I had in my damn. Was there
He's
anything
probably
else?
sleeping.
Yeah, it's true. Or eating dinner. So we've got space snakes. We got the growing their brain, the USB. No, I basically covered it.
Yay!
And then, of course, there's the Who You Know stuff. I mean, no, Who You Know. Who You Know is a movie I made. What's it called? No Way Out. I've already forgotten the name. That's how focused I am. I've already forgotten the name of the thing that I'm so excited about.
Is my mic working?
What was that?
Is my mic working?
It is now.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I had it off while you were talking about like religion, politics, or stuff like that.
Oh, were you trying to jump in on that?
No, I didn't want to talk about politics. That's why I muted.
Why not?
Smart man.
I mean, it is smart, but why not? What do you worry about in that front?
I just think that like you might accidentally say something that wrong and people will get angry type thing.
No, it's a good chance, but don't you think it's important to I think we should be able to voice our. I mean, you're right. Absolutely, you're right. I mean, you want to be respectful about it. But I also sort of feel like I'm gonna make mistakes anyways, and I feel like we've got an audience here, a community here that will step up if there's something that they think is wrong. They will let us know, right? I just worry about. I don't want to feel like I get this. I notice this a lot with the younger generation, is that they're worried about saying the wrong thing. But I think we have to say the wrong things because we don't learn anything, do we? I mean, don't you think, Vibe Pup?
Yeah. What do you think, Vibe Pup?
Yeah.
Do you think there's? Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Wait, what are you gonna ask? I kind of zoned out because I accidentally lit the floor and fire in my game.
That's okay. I was going to ask, do you think there is enough value to gaining information that it's worth maybe ruffling people's feathers or upsetting them, but then figuring out where they're coming from and then fixing that from there? To gain information, is it worth it?
Yeah, kinda.
Here's something that I look. I want everyone to love me. I'm an actor. That's like literally. It's like that is my kryptonite. I in an ideal world, everyone loves everything I say, everything I do. When I go and look at comments, I can't help but being drawn to the negative ones and focusing on that. We have a negative bias. I certainly have a negative bias in that I focus on the negative. But something I've discovered as I've got older is that
Correct, Mr. Clean.
What was that? What did Mr. Clean say? With
Mr.
respect.
Clean said, I hope this is a safe place to speak about things openly.
Right.
I think so.
I think that's the
Unless you're like a Nazi.
Yeah, that's generally Nazis. We're not a big fan of Nazis. But although have you noticed that everyone calls everyone Nazis now? That's the shut it down. That's the shut it down argument, right?
That was an old thing that it's some effect. I can't remember what they called it, but where everything breaks down into calling Nazis.
Right.
But now it feels different.
Mark Lapointe has just made the point that I was stumbling to make, which is basically that as I've got older, you realize that it doesn't matter what you do. Someone is going to take offense. Just the very act of having an opinion or creating something, even Vipup. Like, I mean, there's going to be people who are going to say bad things about your award-winning science experiment for whatever reason, because they don't like the colors you used, or they didn't like the fact that they didn't think you should have won, or they, whatever. I mean, there's so many, and I think after a while you start to learn that you can't avoid conflict, that it comes to you anyways, whether no matter how careful you are about stuff. And I worry that I feel like I go into the room and I say, I know nothing, so let's talk. You know what I mean? And right. I will try to figure things out as I go along. And if I'm wrong, please let me know, and if I'm good, I want to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I learned something. Like when was it Scott? Is that the guy's name? When Scott emailed back about the escape room, he had a lot of things that I'd got wrong. And, and my first response is like,
right.
What? Well, you're whatever. It's your first.
Wait, was it really that, or were you like, oh, that's interesting, I didn't think of that?
I think it was a combination, but there's definitely a part of me that felt a little. Well, I felt there's a little part of me that felt a little stung, that it wasn't like, because you want people to love everything, right? I mean, I wanted him to go like, oh my God, this is the best idea ever. What can we do to make your brilliant idea better? But of course, that doesn't help me, right? That doesn't help me at all. That does nothing. That forwards us in no way at all. This guy knows so much about this stuff that I don't know. So he's going to poke holes in it. And I can either take offense and get nothing out of it, or I can go, I had not thought of that, and go, great, I just freaking learned something. Anyways, Vipup, sorry, we're babbling on about it. But I don't want anyone to feel like they can't say something because they're worried about saying the wrong thing, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Did I tell this story that about 3 years after I started teaching, my grandpa with all of his buddies were in the coffee shop, and they were all talking me up. Not grandpa, they were. The grandparents of the students I was teaching. And so he came back that day and he's like, boy, I just want to tell you, I'm real proud of you. I'm not sure how a cripple can teach high school kids, but I'm real proud of you.
Right.
So I could have flopped around like a fish.
Yeah.
And took it as an insult. But given his, when he was born, what he was conditioned to, it was a compliment. So I took it thusly. I still kind of hate it, but it was okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's. I mean, you've got a very good ability of picking out the good things. Like, I mean, I immediately go to the negative on everything. I complain about everything. But and then I get, then I'm texting with you and you're like, well, nothing terrible happened, so I guess I had a good day. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm like, my coffee was cold and I stubbed my toe and I don't like my dog because it was barking at me. You know what I mean? Like I think it's good to have perspective on these things.
The comedian Jim Jeffries said, if you're expecting a kick in the nuts, a slap to the face is a victory.
There you go. This is perfect. I mean, Vipup, you were talking about coming out a little while ago. And, surely that is something that you're going to get. You could get, I mean, you felt that was important enough to talk about that people, and surely people had responses to that, I imagine.
To what?
Vibe Pup sort of coming out at school and stuff. Is that fair?
Okay.
Is that fair to say, Vibe Pup?
You don't have to
Yeah.
talk about it.
Well, no, Vibe Pup brought it up the other
I
day.
didn't know, buddy.
But
That's cool.
you were saying that you were getting some flack back on that, right?
Yeah, it's kind of gone away, but I was getting a lot.
Right.
My buddy, if you ever want to talk, I would love to talk to you. It's so hard being a kid that thinks you're different, and then when you actually are different, it's two different worlds. So I would really like, you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm here for you, buddy.
Thank you.
No problems.
But that's interesting, though, Vibe, because that's, I mean, like, talk about having an opinion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing. I think if you didn't do that because you were scared of how people were going to respond, then you're not living your full, you're not being your full self, are you? I mean, is that fair to say?
Yeah.
I don't.
I haven't made it really my personality. I just kind of like got it.
It's a thing. I like it.
No, it's amazing. I am amazed at how aware you are, because at your age, I just wasn't there. I just didn't understand it. I mean, like, I just didn't know what, I had no way of identifying, who I was or what I should be or what was right and what was wrong. I mean, I feel like we were a lot more immature than you are, which is pretty amazing. Because they have the internet. Yeah. It's true. But the problem with the internet is it provides knowledge without wisdom. That's my concern with the internet, is that you could see everything there is to see. But you can see everything there is to see. You just don't know how to process it, right? I still don't. Like, I find stuff all the time. I find all sorts of articles that I read. I don't understand a word of them. But I read them. Can a monkey read Nietzsche? Yes, they just don't understand it. Like, it's that classic fish called Wanda line, right? I feel like I'm a bit like the, oh, thank you, Wolf Pup. Sorry, that is a bit of a non sequitur. I didn't realize that Lance, you hadn't been a part of that. I thought you were part of that.
I was not aware.
I taught somewhere, and the teachers were convinced that there was no racism at the school at all. I brought up a bunch of things that happened, and the teachers asked how I knew. I said that the kids told me, and they said, wow, they never told me. I wonder why. Because if you're being told it doesn't exist, then you don't want to be the person to say, like, you're wrong. Yeah, that's interesting. It was a different time when we grew up, David. It was far from a perfect world, but we escaped the horror of social media, thankfully. Yeah, I must say social media is a difficult one for sure, because I do feel like it forces us to sort of compare all the time. I find myself doing it all the time, where you go like, God damn it, look how much stuff that person's doing or this person's doing, and then you have people saying to you like, oh my God, I can't believe you get so much done. I'm like, I get nothing done. What are you talking about? So yeah. All right, I'm gonna wrap up, because as Gimpy G would say, my batteries are getting low. Vibe Pup, you're a rock star, most knowledgeable rock star, in fact. And you'll have to, I guess you can't send a picture of the certificate because it'll have your name on it, won't it? But anyways, we'll have to have some kind of a
make one, David, make one.
Certification kind of thing. All right, I'm going to go charge up. Annie Noam says, go charge up. And that's so I will. Wrap up timer, 20 minutes. Pancreatitis is always timing. Is there anything we need to talk about before I go? Oh, yes, there is something I want to talk about before we go. I think I may have to. I'm going to see if I can do a Tech Bandits on Tuesday next week, because I'm going to be gone. I realize I don't think I'm going to be doing Tech Bandits for a week or so. Although I do have some days off in Winnipeg, and I'm not going to be doing anything, so maybe I can stream from my room or something. It won't be nearly as exciting as this, but maybe I'll.
I think watching you treat your frostbite, that's going to be cool. It's science.
Oh my God.
It's determined. Yeah.
It was minus
like,
20.
Oh, are my fingers supposed to be black?
It was minus
yes,
20.
They are.
Minus 20 today in Winnipeg.
And that's cold.
Yeah.
So cold.
Yeah. But luckily it's all studio.
Is that
except for one.
American
There's two
units
scenes.
or those weird Canadian units?
It's called the what I would call the international units.
Yeah.
Those. You remember those? Oh, America.
Yeah.
Dear
Yeah.
America.
Oh,
How
America.
cute and wonderful you are with your American ways. Get some thermals. I've got a giant freaking parka that I'm going to have to bring. I'm going to have to bring I call them my special pants.
Of course you do.
Which just
Like
makes
your
them
special
sound.
lemon when you're
They
a kid.
sound exactly. They make them sound
Yeah.
weird, but they're my favorite pants because they're like a flannel, like fleece on the inside, and then a waterproof. They're basically snow pants, but they're snow pants you can wear all day, and I am going to live in those. I will probably sleep in my special pants. You know.
I'm with the Ankla.
Elizabeth Zed was going. I was complaining about having to go to Toronto in March, and you'll be going to Winnipeg. Yeah, Elizabeth with a Z. We got to figure out dates because I'm hoping there's going to be some overlap there because I'd love to buy you a coffee and pick your brains about stuff. That'd be fun. Or come and join us on the Tech Bandits maybe sometime. Although, as I say, I don't know. My schedule's going to be a bit weirder than normal because of that. I will try to check in from Winnipeg because I think it'd be kind of fun to just keep you posted. I think they're saying that they're going to announce the project the first week because they want to do some promotional stuff. James Argurney, I come back to hear about David and his special pants. Where it depends. See that'll be our sponsor. The escape room sponsor by Escape the Mess with Depends. There you go. See, that's our first campaign right there. All right, everybody. No garage comic shop yet? No.
Oh no, I want that. Oh gosh, we've got to pick up some good stuff, David. When they go out, we need like a posters or display things or something cool.
Well, the thing about I have an entire cabinet of comic books. And I hoard them like some kind of a greedy old man. And I'm thinking I should like provide them to a library or something so someone can actually read them. Because what's the point of having them all locked away?
Send them to Gimpy G? That's true.
Well, that's the thing. People send me comic books. Like it's like I had what's his name? Lord Chunky. Lord Chunky's uncle had a whole bunch of old comic books, and they didn't know what to do with them, so they just gave them to me. You know, and they're cool old old
how old?
Superboy.
I got some 1968 and 69.
I don't think they're as bad. They're old. They're more like the 70s stuff. They're the stuff that no one can get rid of anymore because no one wants them. The comic book store's like, no, it's amazing. You got the first run of whatever. So does everyone, right? So,
well, that's what happened in the 90s, but yeah.
But
next week, can we write this down? Everybody remind us of this.
Yeah.
1940s Captain Marvel, Steamboat Bill. Well, it's
because nothing incredible. Says Tech Bandits. Like, what is that? What are you talking about? What is this thing you're discussing?
It is the most racist thing I've ever seen in my life.
What is it called?
And it
1940s.
was in the comic book. Steamboat Bill was Captain Marvel's sidekick for a few years.
Really?
Incredible. The things that people did back then,
dude,
are amazing.
Read Doctor Strange. Read Doctor Strange. It is the most anti-Asian, racist, sexist. I can see that. It's insane. Anyways, Wormhole 42 says, "Thanks for keeping me entertained at work. My garage today." See, I like the idea.
So nice.
One day I'm going to work out of a garage. That's what Hacksmith. That's how Hacksmith started with his hack. Did I mention Hacksmith?
Oh, you did, and you really emphasized the cut of his jaw and his enormous pecs. I don't know why.
Exactly.
But you're really all about that.
But he started in a garage. That was his shtick.
True.
You know, I could start and end in a garage. I don't need to. I just need the garage. He needs the big facility because of all the cool tools and stuff like that. Although, think about it. Companies want to get their brand in front of these kids, right? They want to get the university students to start using DeWalt or whatever. So they're going to say, "Hey, why don't we'll give you a DeWalt kit as a prize or something." And And then they like the kids are like, oh, I used to use it to all when I was doing the escape room stuff. And then they're like, that's their brand for life,
for their life,
or a car, or all that kind of stuff. This is the time you want to market to them. So this is the kind of thing people should be sponsoring. I think that and your new Sprinter van too. That would be good too. I got so much free software when I was studying computer science. Yeah, there you go. That's Elizabeth with a Z. Exactly. All right, get out of here. Everybody, be safe, be kind, be brilliant. A cheerio and huzzah! And I got to say thank you to Gimpy G for joining us. Thank you, Vipup, for being the most knowledgeable Tech Bandit award for today. I'm giving out points. To James R. Gurney for answering all of our questions. And of course Cal for being the hammer that most pleasant sunshine, rainbows, and little butterflies and flowers. Cal, thank you much. And Creatus, thank you very much. It's a good excuse for me to say my name is Cal, bright and cheerful. I'm all rainbows and unicorns. What would anyone do without me? I am the hammer of justice, the Hewlett conscious, our little truth speaker, and our little stormy cloud in the chat. Hugs! All right, be safe, be kind, be brilliant. Cheerio and huzzah. Bye, everyone. Now I just got to find the stop stream button. Bye. Here we go. Oh, I got to scroll all the way from one. I got to go all the way from one window, one screen to the next. Here I go, slowly. Here we go. And I'm done. Bye, everyone.